I'm back. That was actually surprisingly easy to clean up because I I keep thinking of like, oh, when I had the pool toy or when I was doing the model, I had a ton of pieces. It's like, no, I already had everything boxed up on stream. I just literally had to move the table back where it was. Anyway, that music you were listening to that entire time was the Night in the Woods soundtrack, which I started from like the third or second song when I was streaming it. We only got like maybe like a fifth, not even a fifth, like a seventh or sixth of that soundtrack. That's why it's 6 discs long. Anyway, we're gonna do Ace Attorney tonight as our main course. Last time we finished the original ending of the first Ace Attorney game, and we moved on to the bonus case, the semi-canon case, which we're going to continue tonight. We only did the first investigation, and by the end of that stream, my throat was killing me, probably because of that scream that I did for Von Karma. For some reason, I uploaded that clip to YouTube, and it got like 200 views, which is like so unusual for me. Like, I have no idea why people like that. Hold on, which one was it? It was the one when right before he says 3 minutes are up. Yeah, I don't know why that clip specifically. 301 views. That's not OBS. No, PNG Tuber, go away. I don't want you right now. You say, force I'll cross-examine the witness. Very well, you may begin. Like, why? Why that one? Why did that get 9 likes? I have no idea what people are doing. It's YouTube. It's YouTube. It's weird. Hot? No, it's not hot. Anyway, day 2 trial former. So we're one investigation scene into this. Again, these segments are long compared to the other cases. So let me do one more thing because I completely forgot. I gotta make myself a little more comfortable here. Now that I'm not on camera, I can kind of get comfortable. Just means I can't turn the webcam on for the rest of the night. Alright, volume should be good. We should be good to go. Let's begin. February 23rd, 9:34 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby Number 2. How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Frankly, there's still a lot of gray areas. Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. Don't worry about me, no matter what the outcome. I'm ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yes? A defense attorney should never believe their client. The defendant is called to trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that. Miss Skye, you remind me a lot of Mia. But there's one decisive difference between you and her. And that is, you're not a defense attorney. I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. My first trial without a Fae helping me. No one's going to bail me out this time. I'll be alone in there, so I have to discover the truth all by myself. Let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole way. February 23rd, 10 a.m., District Court, courtroom number 9. Wow. I think it's the highest it goes. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Edgeworth. It's been 2 months, but I haven't been in a courtroom since his trial. I hope that personal feelings will not be a part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye has committed an unpardonable crime. Partner? No, he hasn't shown up yet. Has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she is rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor office. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's office lot. Wow, he's much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like confessing to everything. However, she will now pay for her rashness with her life. There was a witness to her crime. A professional witness. Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls its first witness, Miss Angel Starr, to the stand. The cough-up queen. That was me at the end of the last stream. I was coughing up bile from my throat. Haven't I seen you somewhere? You ordered the caviar lunch, right? Oh, caviar! I've never eaten caviar before. Judge is really wolfing it down. And oh, for you, I have a Fiesta Bowl. Thanks. Will the witness state her name and profession? And you, sir? Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It's too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please. Well, Your Honor, how does it taste? This is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty it hurts. This is not a food court. Yeah. I always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca. What the heck does pickled tapioca taste like? Who the fuck is rich enough to get caviar, really? Again, fish roe's not that expensive on sushi. Name, profession, now. Me? The name's Angel Starr. Don't go forgetting it. I find myself running Lunchland these days. Is that like Lucky Land from JoJo? Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, witness. Please describe the incident to us. Prosecution will wait. I'm not finished eating. Hurry it up. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime. Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth has said to the court, I am a professional. What exactly does that mean? Until 2 years ago, Miss Angel Starr was a special investigator with the police. She was a first-rate homicide detective. What? Miss Starr was a detective? Ha! I know who you are. Cough up? Cough up, Queen Angel Starr, Your Honor. Long time no see. Very well. You may continue with the description, Miss Starr. Just who is this lady? If I might have the court's attention over here. The parking lot at the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. A block for the prosecutor's office personnel. B block is for visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the 2 blocks. I suppose that's to keep visitors from taking up prosecutor spaces, yes? The crime took place in the car at the back of A block in the car's trunk. Why is there only, like, 6 spaces for a 19th-floor prosecutor's office? The killer stabbed the victim with this knife and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness, and an arrest was made on the spot. And who is this valiant witness? Why, it was me, Your Honor. Parking lot with Edgeworth's car. Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime? Of course, Your Honor. Immediately after that, I apprehended the chief prosecutor. It sounds rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright? I can't agree on principle, Your Honor. It seems that some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining? If you can, then give them your worst, Miss Starr. Wait, are they talking about me? Somehow I always knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend, when I sensed something. Perhaps it was my finely honed detective's intuition at work. Voice crack there. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish car. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. What even? Bringing a lunchbox to your boyfriend. How touching. As you could see, there's no room for doubt. The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodman. So, how does it feel to be so utterly crushed? I'm still thinking about that. It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. Nice Monty Python reference. Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Witness's account. So, I have something very quick to reveal. I may have an artist who is willing to do PNG tuber stuff for me, like much more involved stuff. I don't know how it's going to work in terms of acquiring it and pricing, but you might be seeing that advanced PNG tuber that I want to get down the road. I do really still like this one that Karma has made for me, though. It's really nice. I like it. You like kissing birds, don't you? That's the face. It's the meme. Hey, Celine. Somehow, I always knew it... Oh, I just already read this. You sensed something? So you're saying you had a premonition of the murder? It felt like... How would you say? Oh, yes. It was like the feeling you get when you view a pumpkin chock full of seeds. I have no idea what that means. Speaking of a detective's intuition, wasn't the victim Mr. Bruce Goodman also a detective? Yes, well, he was like a young cheese. A young cheese? A pale white cheese, not tangy with experience on the street. A greenhorn. And they must be hard, yellowed, and sharp as a tack. Yeah, with the odor of an old cheese to match. In any case, there in the lot, I felt something stirring in the back of my mind. By garish car, you mean... Mr. Edgeworth's car, yes. Mr. Edgeworth's? Incidentally, the knife which the victim was stabbed with was also Mr. Edgeworth's. Wasn't it? Indeed, it was. What an odd case this is. And the person you saw, you are sure it was the defendant. I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I am certain it was her. If she's telling the truth, we're doomed. Let's just do what we can. Even if we don't have any proof, we can always nitpick. We're dealing with Edgeworth here. I need something more substantial than that. Can you tell us what the suspect was doing when you saw her? Holding a knife in her right hand. No prints. Tell me more about this knife the suspect was carrying. Well, I'd say the blade was about 4 inches long. Is that right, Mr. Edgeworth? It is your knife, after all. Yes, that's about right. Prosecutors are, by nature, well versed in the location of a man's vital organs. I'm sure it was easier than boiling an egg for my egg salad surprise set. Ooh, that sounds good. I want some egg salad surprise. You can't testify as to her ability to kill an egg. I mean a person. Perhaps a chicken salad set would have been a better metaphor? So the defendant was holding a knife. What then? Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife in Detective Goodman's chest. I just noticed her neck has... that choker she's wearing has a hot dog squid on it. I definitely wouldn't have noticed that back in the DS. Tell the court why you didn't try to stop this crime. You did see her raise the knife to strike, no? The defense has a point. Unfortunately, by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late. Too late? Yes. The next moment, the chief prosecutor brought down the murder weapon. I see. It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We could still make it. You said that before. Anything else? Scientifically speaking, Miss Starr's testimony is flawless. Sounds pretty fatal to me. What do we do? Is this it? Is my sister guilty? Let's just keep our heads cool and press the witness a bit, shall we? For some reason, having her panicking next to me makes me calmer. Don't smile like that. How did you know? I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime, yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy. The lunch lady's uninformed opinion is duly noted. Given that they are used to erasing inconvenient evidence at their whim, killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that. Miss Starr, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator, and if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one. Laid off? She was fired. Turn the volume down like one Eichel here. To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I am a pro, as you know. My testimony's unbiased and flawless. Actually, nah. It's just that one part that's a little louder. There we go. Very well, you may continue, Miss Starr. This boyfriend, he's the detective? Not that boyfriend, the security guard. That boyfriend? You have several? Yes, this boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend. Care to join? The yet another boyfriend position is still open for applicants. She's just like me, for real, for real. I'll stick with the lunches, thanks. Note to self, the judge had to think before replying. There's that face again! I love that face, it's so good. The security guard room is in the lot on A block. It's up on the second level, so you can see everything from there. That would be the room with the security sign. Incidentally, did you bring your lunchboxes by car? Since I'm a visitor now, I parked in B block. So she was in B block when she witnessed the crime. I think you just lose this one. Hold on. No, maybe not. Maybe we just have to press about the no prints. Nope. Your Honor, that statement contradicts this evidence. It does? I don't see anything contradictory. Huh? Really? Objection overruled. Try to think before you make accusations, Wright. Whoops, that didn't go so well. Maybe I pressed her. I don't know. I didn't skip any presses, did I know? Did I? Did you know? Does he know? Oh, maybe something I got before will change one of the other presses. Hold on. Witness, in your testimony, you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms. Ergo, you are a biased witness. You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, rookie. Huh? Rookie? Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me. I'll fry you like a fritter. Crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside. Wow, she's angry. She is upset now. That was inspiring. I believe I've heard that tagline elsewhere. You could cry plagiarism? I may be relegated to the lowly post of lunch lady, but my instincts are honed. Ma? She's been hanging around a lot of heart. Hey, EV2, how you doing? A photograph! You took this! The moment I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over and snap. I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunch boxes is rigged with a camera. I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging it around your neck. Witness, why am I only just seeing this photograph now? You think I'd show it to you, a prosecutor? Think again. My boyfriend works in the photography division of criminal affairs. Well, this is most certainly the defendant. Moment of the crime as photographed by Angel Star. Uh-oh. This is unmistakably Lana Skye. So what was the defendant doing at the time? Chief was holding a knife in her right hand. Her right hand. You're good eating pesto pasta your hubby made. Added chicken from the produce section, just microwaved it because the chicken was one of those that was already cooked. Nice. We get the pre-cooked chicken on Sundays usually at my house. We eat a lot of chicken in my house, and I'm kind of tired of it, but at the same time, there are ways that we have it that I really do like. I'm gonna get a drink because it's almost 1 a.m. Wait, why did it... Oh, by mistake. Whoops. I remember there's a lot of spots in this, There's a lot of spots in this case where you could get tripped up very easily. And you witnessed this. You saw Miss You saw Miss Skye stab the victim with the knife. As I've already said, yes. I swear to my finest salmon swirl lunch. I don't see any salmon in that. Unless the salmon is the swirl. Which would be weird. I'm sure that's a fine lunch. But isn't that odd? Look at this photograph. Every time this is the photograph you took at the very moment of the crime, is it not? Then why is Miss Skye not holding a knife? Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Wow. Objection. That had to be the weakest objection ever, Edgeworth. Yet it was still stronger than your ever-feeble mind, Mr. Wright. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. This was taken the moment after the stabbing. And how can you tell that? Blood splatter. Huh? The dark crimson stains on the chief prosecutor's coat? But it's a black and white photograph. Yes, it's hard to tell, but this could be blood. Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem, except you. Mr. Wright, are you just going to sit there and take that kind of abuse? You got a better idea? Wait, that contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Namely, that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. Well, it seems like I was slightly unclear. Is that good for the mic? Okay. I was still peeking before. My apologies. That's it? If you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Good advice. I'm not sure I understood it, but good advice. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Skye was cold, calculating, like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was a premeditated murder. Premeditated? How do you know? Look at the chief prosecutor's hands in the photograph. Well, are those gloves? Surgical gloves made of thin rubber. Rubber? Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have those on? If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves. Ah! These gloves do seem to tell a tale of premeditation. Premeditated murder, a serious offense. Witness, add this to your testimony. The murder was planned. The rubber gloves prove it. What if she was just in the habit of wearing gloves, like driving gloves? The gloves were admitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested. They were rubber gloves, the kind used for autopsies. In other words, when the chief prosecutor came to the crime scene, she came to do murder. It's the only possible conclusion one can make. She came to do a murder. She came to do murder. Everything was planned, as it was a premeditated crime. Oh. Impressive. I'm sorry they took you off the force, Miss Starr. Just said you earned 400 birdseeds for your continuous watch. Thank you, you've been watching me a lot. Well, if the PNG tuber thing I just talked about goes through, those birdseeds will be worth a lot more. Because they'll be able to do some fun stuff. This is bad. She's got them all thinking this was planned. If she could prove this claim, the trial's already over. Gotta think of a way to show this wasn't premeditated. Ah! Anyway, this one's pretty easy to figure out. Witness, do you know what this is? Are you trying to test me? I sell box lunches for a living, you know. That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk. Indeed, it is my knife. What's with this case? The bloody murder weapon, a red car, all belonging to the prosecutor there? The defendant is the chief prosecutor for the district, right? Mommy, are prosecutors bad people? Why is there a kid watching this trial? The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. What's that, rookie? In your testimony, you stated that Lana Skye planned this murder. And that's why she was wearing those special gloves. Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning. However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing? The murder weapon. Oh. The knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon. You're going to give rewards to the birdseeds earned? I'm going to have a way to implement it with the PNG tuber model. It's going to do some funny stuff. Maybe. We'll see. Order! 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 Great. Now the tide is turning in our favor. Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free. Your 9.3 points are waiting. Yeah, don't worry. It might still be a long time out, because the artist I'm getting to do this, has a long queue, and is already working on a YCH for me. Yay, 42,000 points. I don't know how much the most points I probably have for any channel is Vinesauce. Because I've been watching his stuff since channel points were a thing, literally. I wonder if I could actually see how many points I have while he's not live. $70,600. 70,000. I think most of them are like 670k on one channel. Wow. Again, hold on to those bird seeds. Don't use them now, because I'm going to be reworking everything eventually. Excuse me. Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. 317k. Wow. What? What? I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. Well, here's the thing. My own channel doesn't count. Because I have, if you own the channel, you have infinite bird seeds. What do I have here, anyway? Why does that not actually show up? That's weird. Twitch is busted. Not over such a trifling detail. But this shoots a whole hole in the premeditated theory. Ah, the prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there. The defendant, Lana Skye, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing the prosecution needed to prove. Nothing else. Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now. But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If it wasn't, why would she have been wearing... I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again. Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought. How dare you? My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Really now. Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine, to plunge in the knife again and again. The victim was summoned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. It does sound a lot like premeditation, doesn't it? So if I ordered a pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy? In any case, the defendant may now cross-examine the witness. One's pretty easy. You don't even need to press for this one. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. She only did it once. One knife wound. You say she stabbed him again and again. But you couldn't have witnessed that. Are you testing me? Then I'll test you. With my moss surprise. Oh, we're Deltarune now. Cool. Delicious moss. I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Starr. What do you mean? I shouldn't have to explain this, but take a look. The autopsy report states that the death was due to loss of blood from one stab wound. Ah, haha, you're right. Good show, Mr. Edgeworth. What a hunk. He's my hero, really. What about my objection? No one noticed? Well, witness? You got the crime scene set, right? See, that's clever. I like that. All just rice, though. These are bento boxes. Like, they're clearly Japanese lunches. Lick moss. Oh, thanks. I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. I'm capturing that because that's actually, not the... But now I realize that such mistakes are possible. So you're saying you mistook something for blood? Hey, Mike, I've been playing games like on Switch like crazy. First Raincoat, then Chicken Police Paint It Red. And now Aviary Attorney. Oh, I forgot that was on Switch. I played Aviary Attorney when it first came out on my old laptop. It's a fun game, but it's also it's hard to figure out what to do in it sometimes. For some of the endings, you really have to, like, pay attention to what actions you're taking. But it is a fun game. It's a lot more open-ended than Ace Attorney. And as anyone could probably guess, it stars a bunch of birds. But not like Hatoful Boyfriend birds, like old-style 1800s birds. You want a donut with that, too? When she lifted the knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Splattered blood from her victim. Is it supposed to be spatter? That's why I thought she would have stabbed him at least twice. Then tell us what you thought you saw was blood. Testify! Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the whole scene was. Her red muffler? Yes, like a scarf. The chief prosecutor always wears one around her neck. So she could be easily hanged at a moment's notice, I suppose. She really does not like her. She's right. Miss Skye was wearing a red scarf, wasn't she? But wait, isn't it odd that you mistook that for splattered blood? Well, people often mistake my beard for a bib. A judge with a bib. That's why this place feels so much like a kindergarten at times. Actually, I do think I saw some traces of blood on her chest. However, the autopsy report is clear on this matter. There was only one knife wound. Apparently, Miss Starr wasn't entirely sure of her own testimony. Mr. Wright, this is our chance. Chance for what, I wonder? Miss Starr has turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Challenging her abilities as a detective really set her off. Short wick burns out the fastest. It's a scientific fact. I wonder, would it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, add more wax and a really short wick will burn even longer. Obviously, more scientific testing is required. Miss Starr, I demand an explanation. The witness is clearly not suited for detective work. What? I like how Edward's just kind of, like, butting in on us constantly. The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler at any time of any kind when she stabbed the victim. And you proved it yourself with this photograph. Huh? But that can't be! Only a professional lunch lady could be so utterly careless. Congratulations, perhaps you finally found your true calling in life. Harsh words, but good. In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails. What was my objection? Chopped liver? But it was right there. A scarf. No, not that, but something red. Really? Well now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude, but back to business. What? Very well, witness. You may continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that. Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least. Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony. Most important part? The part where your sister stabs the victim. This next testimony might just be the moment of truth. Apprehending the suspect. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Starr, resistance is futile. 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 You're quite determined about this scarf, aren't you? I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Starr. That wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is a kind of snake. Don't bother me with the details unless you want to get bitten. No thanks. Note to self, Mr. Wright is weak against poisonous snake bites. Chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. An oil drum? Hard to imagine. Oh, she's beautiful but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Row. Very well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you will. So where's this partition on the floor plans? I'm sure she means this wall next to the car. That's right. There was a wall there, about 6 feet high. She was obviously trying to hide herself. Quite a natural thing for a criminal to do. And what did you do then? You say quickly. Were you close to the suspect? As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time. Maybe I should press her for more details? Yes. I'd like to see this on the floor plans, just to be safe. The Lunchland car was... She was a visitor, thus she was parked in B block. So you witnessed the murder from here? That would make it about 30 feet from the car, yes. Is that correct, Miss Starr? Yes, that's right. But there was a chain-link fence in front of you. I went over it, of course. Amazing, the cough-up queen lunch lady athlete, indeed. The cough-up queen lunch lady athlete, indeed. Would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence, so she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast. Yeah, that fence was about 9 feet high, too. So how did Miss Skye not get away? She mentioned the muffler. What exactly did she say? If I remember exactly, I would have told you in my testimony. Cheeky. Anyway, all I heard her say was the word muffler. Just that one word? So what have you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but to someone else? Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone. Her phone? She can't mean... By phone, do you mean the cell phone discovered at the crime scene? Yes, ultimately. Ultimately. My memory... It's like a salmon heading upstream, you see. No, the court doesn't see, Miss Starr. The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall. On the wall? That's right. Near the car, there was an emergency phone on the wall. Apparently it was out of order, and so she used her cell phone. Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order that day. Good witnessing, witness. Good witnessing? Whatever happened to good testifying? You'd of course add this to your testimony. Things I do to please this rookie defense attorney. Word muffler was overheard during a call made to Emma at 5:18. Saw it all, how she tried to use the phone on the wall but had to use her cell phone instead. How did she see that? If that wall is 6 feet high, how did she see it while she was climbing over the fence? Miss Starr, I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Skye. The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Well, who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago. Well, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction in your testimony. How do you explain this? I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me and I'll make you cough it all up. All the goop. It's gone. Ahem. Let's look at the floor plans. Floor plans, not four plans. Only one plan. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Skye making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. The emergency phone was on the back side of this partition. If indeed you were in B block, you couldn't have seen it. What? Ah! Order! Order! What is the meaning of this? It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch. She's coughing up lies. That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me to question. Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told the court. Here's where the counterattack begins. Can't afford to get this wrong. The witness lied about where she saw it. Miss Skye tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for Miss Starr to lie about it. Pointless to lie. I see. But say the witness did actually see Miss Skye using the emergency phone. It would mean... Miss Starr witnessed the crime from a different location! A different location? That's a pointless lie if I've ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime? All the testimony we've heard until now points in one direction. The place from where Miss Starr witnessed the crime was... like just right here? I think. I mean, it's highly likely that's where she was. You think? It's highly likely. Your cavalier attitude stands in stark contrast to your feeble argument, Mr. Wright. Her being there wouldn't change a thing. Please, Mr. Wright, think before you speak, fuck. Yes, Your Honor. I mean, she would be here. This is the only place where she could have been. The security guard room. Indeed, the security room in the upper underground parking lot is well positioned. It's built on the second floor, so you could see the entire lot. She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are many other places where she could have seen the phone. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime in the back of the partition is here. I remember in your testimony you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Well, Miss Starr, how many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could be turned. Today a man has gotten the better of Angel Starr. Order! Order! Witness! What have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better. I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished. And I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. The guilty. Is she talking about Miss Skye? Mr. Wright, doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Starr lie? Doesn't make any sense. Huh? She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. This photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. That truth still stands. It still stands? I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. But what? If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason. So tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright. Huh? Me? Who else? Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Miss Starr witnessed the crime from the security guard station. But she lied and said she saw it from B block. Must make a vital difference, but what would that change? Distance of the crime, angle of view, okay, distance, I believe. It changes the distance between her and the scene of crime. My condolences, Mr. Wright, but look at the floor and plans and it's quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see. What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Skye? Well, witness, yes? You ordered the squid wheels, right? Ooh, squid. Yum yum. Quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible. I was bringing a PB&J lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend. What about marlinberry? Boysenberry for the boyfriend. He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass-walled station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. Oh my god, that is one slow W. That's why I had to go to the visitors' parking in B block. That's quite a detour. It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime. 5 minutes? This changes things considerably. But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork. You have a point, and the spork is a wonderful invention. Would you like another caviar lunch? Absolutely! Uh-oh. Mr. Wright, you have to do something! Do you have any evidence to stop this? 5 minutes between witnessing of the murder and the arrest. Think about it. You could make pasta in that amount of time. If you like it al dente. I've got lunchboxes that tie pasta into knots, rookie. A 5-minute blank. Isn't that strange? Strange? If you were a criminal, what would you do with the 5 minutes, Your Honor? Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Hey, don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone. But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run. But this time was different. Miss Skye dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. Yeah. I can't scream. Well then, it seems we come to the end of this testimony. The witness has a grudge against the defendant and a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth is the next witness ready to go. Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her professional history. We did it! We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright. That was too close. I'm afraid that the cough-up queen has been dethroned. Ugh. Blip, 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 blip. I'm gonna burp. I'm afraid that the cough-up queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned. Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right? That's the one she tried to foist off on me. I prefer not to take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence. What was that? Is this another one of her trick lunchboxes? My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr. Is this your jumbo lunchbox? Woohoo, a triple-decker! Oh, baby, a triple! Out of deference to the witness's determination, I'll allow one more testimony. Let's hear about this decisive evidence while I chow down on this, caviar. Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed. Ba-da-bum! What you going to pull out of her lunchbox this time? I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on the shoe. One was, of course, the victim's, and the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. The shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. What? There was blood found on the shoe. Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence? Simple, as I've already said. I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. And you had blood tests performed? Sorry, just checking something real quick. Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics. In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence. What? You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, this shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department, as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty sullen. Could at least study some evidence law, really. Prosecution's complaints notwithstanding. Why did I do the Edgeworth voice there? It appears that this first evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. However, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness. Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged. White enamel shoe bears traces of blood from Goodman and Lana Skye. Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Why did you lie about those 5 minutes? I guess you could say I just wanted people to look at the results. The results? How many times do I have to say this to you? I saw the chief prosecutor stab the victim before my very own eyes. Compared to that, a 5-minute blank means nothing. Then why didn't you just tell the truth? Don't make me laugh. We're dealing with the most untrustworthy of the vile lot known as prosecutors. Falsified evidence, arranged testimonies, erasing and manipulating evidence. When you fight monsters, you need to use every trick in the book. This one she admits, the suspect is admitting she did it? But false testimony is the most despicable crime of all, Miss Starr. Let's just get this over with. And you also found this shoe at the scene of the crime? I detained the chief prosecutor and notified the police department. I wanted to make myself useful while I was waiting for the police to arrive. So like an ill-trained pooch, you snuck off with a shoe. I was afraid someone would erase the chief prosecutor's crime. This shoe is my secret weapon if that should ever happen. See this fashionable basket I have here? It carries more than lunchboxes, gentlemen. I'm happy for you and your lunchbox bag, really. In any case, you removed valuable evidence from the crime scene. Now tell us what you did next. 2 types of blood were found in the shoe. So you brought it to the forensics department. If you're going to submit something as evidence in court, you need it approved. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by a forensics expert. And she got away with her little coup because she used to be a detective. The shoe does appear to have bloodstains on it. Well, the man was stabbed after all. And the victim belonged to the blood belonged to the victim, Detective Goodman? As I said, there were 2 types of blood found in the shoe. You can't say for sure the blood belonged to the defendant with a blood test. You claim to know something about blood tests, rookie? Huh? Well, speak up. Well, blood comes in 4 types, A, B, O, and AB. However, you can't tell a blood test... You can't tell from a blood test whether a murder was committed in cold blood. It's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright. Actually, we could differentiate millions of types with all the blood tests out there, which means that we can more or less narrow any sample of blood down to just one person. Or so I hear. That's pretty scientific. Had a little more time, I would have gotten DNA test results. But they said there's very little doubt it could be anyone's but Miss Lana Sky's. So the suspect's blood was found in the victim's shoe. That ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman. I was afraid he was going to say that. Can't let this evidence go through without a fight. You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Peppered fish guts. Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. She's in enough hot water to make a whole vat of soup. Mr. Wright, do you or don't you have a problem with the shoe? Problem? This is critical. Is there a problem with the victim's shoe? I'm not imagining things. I'd say there's one critical problem with this evidence. A clear contradiction. That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish gut now, but you couldn't take the heat, could you? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about this victim's shoe? Show us the problem with this evidence. Potato, rotato. Okay, so she got blood splattered here. But then there's also blood on the bottom of the shoe. I wonder if you noticed, there's blood on the bottom of this shoe. It's blood. It's my sister's, right? It appears so. Lana's right hand was bandaged when I saw her in jail. Must have cut herself at the time of the crime. Poor sis. Ah! There's blood here, too! On the sole of the shoes? It's gotta be the victim's. Must have stepped in a puddle of his own blood. All this blood. It's horrible. This blood might be an important clue. Don't mess with me, rookie. Or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe. Indeed, there's quite a bit of blood at the bottom of the shoe. Makes sense, the victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about the blood on the bottom of the shoe? Huh. The fact there's no blood on the ground, maybe? The problem lies in the footprint. The footprint by Menon. Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't that strange? Why weren't any bloody footprints found at the scene of the crime? Aha! As you could see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about the shoe. This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. Then where are they, Mr. Edgeworth? Because we checked the scene and found nothing of the sort. Order, order, order! Well, witness. What, huh? Great going, Mr. Wright, but it's true that a lack of footprints is a contradiction. But then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint. Oh, that's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint. Think, Mr. Wright, think. Hey, I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions. What? I see. Now I get it. Get what? Excuse me. Why didn't they do a voice clip for that Hold It for Edgeworth? They have voice clips for Hold It and Take That later for him. Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There's one vital hint to the truth in her testimony. What are you talking about? Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect. I thought that was a strange thing for the normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Now, witness, allow me to ask you a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, that, I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory. Witness, well, was the oil drum empty? The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. Water? What does that mean? Still don't get it, Mr. Wright. Do you want to know the real reason she knocked it over? Aha, you don't mean... Yes, the suspect knocked over that oil drum for one reason and one reason alone. To erase the bloodstains that would become evidence against her. That ties things up quite nicely. Bloodstains left in the victim's shoes tied quite clearly to this murder. Then after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs. Why, that's a prosecutor's specialty, erasing evidence. That reminds me, Miss Sky's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she'd cut herself when she stabbed him? So that's when my sister's blood got in the shoe? Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial. Mr. Wright, do something, please. What? What can I do? Your sister's confessed to the crime and she tried to conceal it. But... Enough. There's no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor. Very well. But Angel Star's on the prosecution's side. She could have been lying about the water. This court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky. Little girl, what did you just say? Huh? Me? Did you say that I, Angel Star, was on the prosecution's side? Well, yeah, you are. You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well, I thought you'd had your fill, but here you are demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox. A lunchbox we call evidence. Was that beans? Wait, witness, don't tell me you have something else! Time for deliberations is past. Any further comments and you will be held in contempt of court. Your threats don't scare the cough-up queen. Look at this. A photograph. I had it just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim. I see no room for error in this evidence. Mr. Wright, wait! Look at the asphalt in this photo. Hey, it's clearly wet. Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind. Immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all. It's not your... Oh, whoa. Getting some name fuck-ups here. It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the beginning. And it seems like this is what your sister wanted anyway. I'm sorry, Mia. Right. Wet or not. Don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Get yourself up off the asphalt. Take another good look. Don't give up. Not until the bitter end. This is the last piece of evidence. Very well, at this time I'd like to declare a verdict for good.
Objection!
Excuse me. Your Honor, wait! What is it with you people? Can't I hand down my verdicts in peace anymore? Whatever it is, can it wait? No, it can't. Then it'll be too late. Look at this photograph. The last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we've given each piece of evidence proper consideration. So, Wright, are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence? Yeah, I'll think later. Yeah, there's a problem. Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this. I suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show the court the problem in this photograph. I'm like tripping over my words. I need a second here. Okay, problem in this photograph. The knife is stuck in his chest. Sorry, I'm finishing my drink. Excuse me. Well, it's probably here, don't you think? As your elder, Mr. Wright, let me give you a piece of advice. When you point at something, at least remember to keep your eyes open, okay? I believe he's trying to say that no one's falling for your bluffs, Mr. Wright. Open your eyes, Mr. Wright. Think scientifically. Problem in the photograph is here. What's this? There's something poking out of the car's muffler. Wait just a moment, Mr. Edgeworth. Your Honor, you just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or scarf of any kind in this photograph. A muffler is also a part in a car or motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as part of the exhaust system, a pipe. I see, and I see. What's that suspicious-looking cloth sticking out of the car's muffler? So what if there's something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with this case? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Objection!
Sorry, Miss Starr, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you've already told us why this is important to the case. You said as much in your testimony, with 3 exclamation points. What? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say has on his mind. Tell us why you think this piece of cloth... Tell us why you think this piece of cloth is... Tell us why you think this piece of cloth in the muffler is related to this case. Nailed it. Miss Starr, recall your testimony to the court. She mentioned the muffler. That's what I heard me confused earlier. Testimony, testicles, whatever. You know how this goes. Muffler. Ah! Could it be that the muffler you heard her mention was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence. Oh! Muffins. Well, it seems we'll have to suspend the proceedings. I found these leftover Blue Diamond almonds, bold, salt and vinegar flavored. They're pretty good. I'm not a huge salt and vinegar guy, but these are very strong. Suspended? Where is it? Wait, hold on. I gotta do it. I find myself wondering about that piece of cloth. What emoji is that? Oh, Maldo. Sus Nugget. That's good. Had all your Switch games. You apparently have 218, only beaten 27. That's about the same ratio that I have on there. I don't think I have as many games as that, though. But, I mean, if you count, like, this as 3 games, then it's a different story. If we leave any question unanswered here, do we do a disservice to the law? Have that car at the crime scene inspected at once, and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed? I suppose so. Whew, that was close. But we made it, at least for now. Court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime after all. He's still hungry? Oh god, we're getting multi-segment court... Man, this case is long. Damn good almonds. February 23rd, 11:56 a.m. District Court. Defendant lobby number 2. Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Are trials always like this with you? Like you're swimming up from the bottom of a lake about to reach the surface, but no matter how hard you paddle, you never seem to get there? Pretty much, except today we're swimming in quicksand. So what happened to your sister, anyway? Apparently she got called off to the judge's chambers. Probably something to do with that piece of cloth. So, this is where we turn the trial around, right? Our only weapon, a tiny, insignificant piece of cloth. I'm the only one who's starting to feel tiny and insignificant, to tell the truth. Hola, partner. They say you show a red cloth to a bull, it's about to fire up its temper. That's what they told me when I was a young'un, at least. Officer Marshall. Thought I'd come take a look to see how this trial's going. Looks like I'm late. They got the home ranch locked down tighter than a fort in enemy territory. That hard to slip out, huh? What's going on over there, anyway? All the police I've seen the last 2 days have been really on edge. Worth. They love them. Don't you got enough on your plate without worrying about other people, compadre? You could be worrying about the you could worry about the chief prosecutor's taste in mufflers, for example. Officer Marshall, the whole muffler thing didn't have anything to do with scarves. She wasn't even wearing a scarf. You don't say. Now don't that just beat all? I've seen the red breeze blow at her slender neck many a time. I saw it that day, too. She was wearing a red muffler. What? At the award ceremony that afternoon. Edgeworth's seen it too, I reckon. What does that mean? In the photograph taken at the crime scene, she wasn't wearing a scarf. She took it off? Maybe? So she wouldn't get blood on it? I don't know. So Miss Starr wasn't mistaken. Well, it's about time. Remember, partner, sometimes you gotta grab the bull by the horns. And sometimes you just gotta let that bull go where it will. Time will tell. Ugh, I have a bad feeling about this. So what are we swimming in now, Mr. Wright? If it's steak sauce, I can hook you up with some fine ribs. Ooh-wee! Red velvet muffin. 12:32 p.m. Courtroom number 9. Another almond real quick. I'd like to resume. What's up? The judge keeps looking over at the prosecution. Is something wrong, Mr. Edgeworth? Your face is blue and your lips are purple, and you're sweating bullets. That furrowed brow, those grinding teeth, those watery eyes. What's more, your eyes are unfocused, and it can't be. This can't happen. Do not presume. What, am I dropping? I'm not dropping frames, am I? No, I think I'm fine. Whew. Man, my body's not feeling hot right now. What happened to Mr. Edgeworth? Well then, I believe it's time we continued on with this trial. During our recess, This is unacceptable! It seems our prosecutor is quite beside himself. Excuse me? Knock knock? Who's there? What's with this guy? A strange stuffy aura seems to be filling the courtroom. Hey, the temperature rose 5.7 degrees when that man came in. Who on earth is he? Ah, it's you! Oh, sorry I'm late, Udgy. The roads were packed. It's just me. Long time no see, eh, Udgy? How you been? Swim much these days? Oh, hello. No, I've been so busy. Busy, smizzy, Udgy, my boy. You have to make time to relax. Yes, indeed. Udgy seems to be his nickname for the judge? I'm afraid you're right. Very afraid. Sorry, but who are you? So you're Wright, the attorney. I've heard good things about you, son. Thanks? So sorry about our little worthy giving you all that trouble, eh? You know, we should all go swimming together sometime. Jolly! Little worthy? Mr. Wright! You don't know the district chief of police? Chief of police? He's the top-ranking police officer in the entire district. Name's Gant. Damon Gant. Pleased to meet you, everyone. So, to what do we owe this honor today? It's been over 2 years since you last came to this courtroom, hasn't it? Well, it's worthy there. Look at the poor fellow. Well, he's never seen him until now, yeah. Any day now. I just thought I'd help him out by bringing this. Hey, that's my sister's muffler. So Miss Star wasn't just seeing things. When the crime occurred, Miss Sky really was wearing that muffler. But to think that it was stuffed into that exhaust pipe. On little Worthy's car, no less. It's really quite embarrassing, even for us. What's this? It's what you'd call a switchblade knife. Quite perplexing, this. Chief, what kind of outfit are you running? Mr. Edgeworth, how could they miss such a vital piece of evidence? Your investigators are this lax. How do you expect us to do our job? Now, wait a minute, Worthy. I've no desire to hear your explanations. I'm telling you to wait. Or didn't you hear me? Have a look at this document where it says person in charge of investigation. There's no mistaking that signature, is there? Miles Edgeworth. That's not fair. On the day of the crime, I had... Your head in the clouds because you got that award. I know how you feel. But you're the person in charge. I'll expect a written apology. What? Are you serious? Don't be too upset. We'll find a way to clean up this mess that you made. This is the first time I've seen Mr. Edgeworth at a loss for words. This kind of major blunder is unlike you, Mr. Edgeworth. Ah. The court accepts this new evidence. But I'd like to ask the defense a favor first. Yes? Just to be sure, I'd like to take a look at the blade of this knife. The blade, Your Honor? Well, I don't see why not. Could you open it up for me, I wonder? Yes, well, I think all you have to do is push that switch end. If I cut my finger, Mr. Wright, I wouldn't be able to pound my gavel anymore. Yeah, but if I cut my finger, I wouldn't be able to point it at people anymore. Come on, just hurry up and open it. What is even going on? Don't worry, it'll become clearer. You found a cute spider plushie at Walmart that dances and sings "Freak Out." It's too cute. Oh, that's cute. That's not cute. Halloween season. Oh no, my Switch is possessed. It's doing this automatically. Talk about Joy-Con drift. There's a small tag on this knife. It seems to say SL92. What does that mean? Well, I've heard something similar. DL6 of DL6 incident fame. But it's strange. Huh? What is? I'm not certain, but I get the feeling I've seen this somewhere before. Letters like this, or letters that looked a lot like this, somehow. Ah! Don't scare me like that! I'm the one who's scared. Look at this knife blade. The tip is broken off. And this dark red stain. Blood? There's fingerprints on it, too. Found the crime scene, wrapped in the defendant's muffler. Small tag attached. This does not excuse the actions of the police department. I would like to hear an explanation from the chief of police himself. I'm terribly sorry, but could I ask you to testify for us about the split between the prosecutors and the police and this knife? Sure thing. Not a problem. Not even a little one, really. Department in disorder. This knife is special, but I can't say how here. Unless there's evidence to prove a connection between this knife and Goodman. That was a bad day for the department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation. A detective was killed at the police department, see? What a mess. The time of the crime? 5:15. Scary coincidence, eh? It's not officially linked to this case here, so I can't talk much about it. The eShop's under maintenance for some reason. Probably because of the Pokemon DLC coming out tomorrow. Massive influx of people going to download it. They're probably doing reinforcement maintenance or something. There was a murder at the police department. A detective! That's hush-hush information, Haji. We haven't exactly announced it yet. Objection! Wait a second. You said 5:15. That's the exact same time that Detective Goodman was killed at the prosecutor's office. Order, order, order! Anyway, we at the department were all flustered, as you might well assume. We're in the middle of a top secret investigation. Don't tell anyone, okay? I think we understand the police department's situation. Well, Mr. Wright? 2 detectives killed at the same time in 2 different places. The chances of that are really slim, scientifically speaking, of course. I'd like to exercise my right to cross-examine the witness. Very well. However, keep your questions focused on the case at hand. Bruce Goodman, the victim, and a good man. Detective in charge of homicide and criminal affairs Division 1. Damon Gant, age 65, district chief of police. Though he might not seem it, he's top dog in the police department. Excuse me, special? Hard to come by this particular knife anywhere else. Maybe might that special little might that special thing be this little tag? Oh, sorry, Rhino, but I can't say that now. Not that. We've established the knife and oh my god. I'm having a stroke. I think I'm literally having a stroke here. We've established the knife in Goodman's chest was this knife. Now, why was there another knife at the... Knife? Did I actually say knife? I think my brain needs to be reset here. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm gonna try rebooting.
The rabbit is starving.
Okay. When's Walton Files 4 happening?
Me? Gungaga.
There we go. That's the restart. That's the restart I really need. Now, why was there another knife at the scene of the crime? Sorry, but that was funny, I will admit. What, me saying knife? Yeah, that was good. Don't worry, you need, like, dirty takes for your video today. Yeah, no, trust me. I do voice acting auditions every night. I'm well-versed in flubbing lines. That's quite a mystery. And like a mystery, it's wrapped in something. A muffler. Unless there's evidence to prove a connection between this knife and Mr. Goodman. This knife was found at the scene of our crime. I think that makes it connected to the case, don't you? See, there's a lot of things that go on at the department I can't explain. It's delicate, okay? Sorry, Righto. Maybe there's something about this knife that will give us a clue. Let's examine that knife while we can, Righto. Evidence that links this knife to Detective Goodman. I think perhaps the pieces are falling into place. I should try presenting the piece of evidence that's had me stumped this whole time. So how are things down at the department? Let me present the baby. Something happened at the police department too, huh? You got a good look in your eyes there, Righto, my boy. Sharp, hungry. So something did happen, and why wasn't I informed? Why weren't you informed? Well, why didn't you ask? No matter, I understand. You were busy, what with Lana's case and all. Well, what happened? What happened at the police department that day? A detective was killed at the police department. See, what a mess. On the same day that a detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, another detective was killed at the police department. That's a fact. Surprising, isn't it, Udgy? I'm at a loss for words. And the perpetrator, do you have a suspect? Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested him, in fact. Just arrested? That was quick. But there's still a lot of unanswered questions. Maybe you could help, Righto. I suppose I could help if you help me by giving me data on your case. Oh, good one. The kid's sharp. Okay, here's the deal. I'll tell you one thing and one thing only. Where the victim was found. So tell me, where was the victim found? Well, I can't speak on where the corpse was found, but I could say the crime took place in the evidence room at the police department. The evidence room? You wouldn't know about the evidence room, would you, Righto? I can't say I've heard of it. I guess I should ask again once I learn a bit more about this evidence room. There's something stranger about this than that place where the body was found. Oh, yes there was. 5:15? But that's when Detective Goodman was killed in the prosecutor's office. What? Funny, isn't it? A murder at the prosecutor's place and a murder at our place at the very same time. What are the chances? Coincidence? This is just my gut feeling, but I'd say there's a 0.001% chance of that happening. Chief Gant, please tell us more about the incident. It's not officially linked to this here case, so I can't talk much about it. How can you say there's no connection? How? Because I'm the chief of police. I can't just say anything I please, Righto. You understand. Try to understand, Righto. Well, if you could prove there is a connection, more power to you. Maybe there's something that ties the two murders together? Whatever it is, I better find it and get to the bottom of this. 2 detectives were killed at 5:15, one at the prosecutor's office, and one at the police department. That can't be a coincidence. And that knife, what was it doing there? I'd better check this knife out. Okay. How the victim was killed. Well, how was the detective killed? How was he killed? Now that's the interesting part. It was when we were in the force called... It was what we in the force call a stabbing. With a knife. A knife? That's exactly the same as Detective Goodman. That's the spirit. We're cooking now. But you know, that's not the only thing that was exactly the same. What do you mean? There were more similarities between the two cases than the cause of death. Seems like I'm going to have to press this a bit harder. But when we already know. So when did that murder at the police department occur? Now that's a sharp question, right? Oh, very sharp. Well, my boy, you're gonna love this. Ah. Oh, my health got refilled. Your Honor, that statement contradicts this evidence. Whoops, that didn't go so well. It's a note. Wait a second. Ah, at last an honest-to-goodness objection. This knife. This has something to do with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? Ah, what an honest-to-goodness, what do you mean from Udgy? This is great. Look at the tag on this knife. It reads SL92. This is important. Why? Over here we also have a memo that was on the body of the victim. What's this? 6 minus 7S, 12-2. Your Honor, it's upside down. Upside. The printed name on the memo makes it look like the printed name on the memo makes it looks like it's right side. Oh my God. The printed name on the memo. The printed name on the memo makes it look like it's right side up. But turn it around and what do you get? Aha! Whoever wrote this note was holding the paper upside down. SL9. That's the same thing written on this knife's tag. Order! Order! Well, Chief! Ah, well, I guess the cat's out of the bag. You win, righto. I win? Ah, what kind of game is this guy playing? The knife was evidence in a case that was stolen from the department's evidence room. So this knife was stolen? Yes, but on the day of the murder. It was evidence, you say. Was it in fact a murder weapon? Nice, nice, nice. Good show, little worthy. It was a murder weapon as it happens. It was evidence from a case long since solved. So this knife was stolen on the day of the murder. And it was found in the exhaust pipe of Edgeworth's car. Objection, Gant is a DILF. God damn it. He's a grand DILF. He's 65. Hard to think there isn't a connection there. The evidence room? Well, wait a second. I've heard of that. The evidence room. Didn't he mention that in his testimony just now? The knife was stolen in a case. It was stolen from the... I've just read this. I'm not reading it again. There's the connection between the two cases. You seem happy, Mr. Wright. Happy? We just got handed our ticket to go to town on this case. With the link between the two cases established, we finally have some leverage. Now we can get Gant to testify about the details. Chief, the defense's position is simply this. The connection between those two cases has already been proven. You don't say. Well, out with it, righto. What's your connection? Yes, that's with it. Out with it, Mr. Out with it, Mr. Wright. Detailed these nuts, yeah. Yes, out with it, Mr. Wright. The connection is a place mentioned in the testimony we just heard. The knife found in the lot was stolen from the police department's evidence room. Not to mention the victim had on him the case number and the knife's evidence tag. And And we also know that the detective murdered at the police department was killed in that very same evidence room. Indeed. There does seem to be too many connections for this to be a coincidence. You two make a good pair. It took my men 2 days to find out what you deduced right here. Chief, I request that you release your information on the victim at the police department. Blah, 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 blah. See, that's the tricky part. It hasn't been announced yet and all. Can we get the information unofficially? Sure, why not? It's unofficial after all. What? Really? Who would have guessed? I'll cooperate, but I can't reveal the name of the victim at the department, okay? You're going to tell us a little, why not tell us everything? Ah, well, the case information is sticky stuff. You have to do everything properly. Oh well, guess I might as well try to get what I can out of him. Okay, what division was the victim stationed in? Oh, you want to know that, do you? Do you? Criminal Affairs Division 1, the detectives responsible for homicide cases. Homicide, that would be the same division as Detective Gumshoe. Detective Bruce Goodman was also killed in the underground parking lot, was homicide too. It's almost like a serial killer was after homicide detectives. Except this serial killing happened simultaneously, scientifically speaking. Well, I sure hope Detective Gumshoe isn't next on that list. Victim's gender. Okay, how about the gender of the victim? You want to know that? Okay, a hint. Let's see, first hint, the gender that's not female. Aha! He was a guy! What did I tell you? The boy's sharp! Stop goofing around, Mr. Wright, this is serious business! Sorry, Your Honor. Hey, tell that to the Chief of Police. Okay, how about you tell me the victim's ID number? Sure, why not? It's not like you'll be able to tell who it is from that. Of course not, you won't tell me their name after all. Could be non-binary. Yeah, but also this game was localized in 2006. No one at Capcom knew what non-binary was, to be honest. 2005. Keep a tight lid on ID numbers, so don't go getting your hopes up. The number is 584-2819. That's the same as Bruce Goodman. Well, that's quite long. And we have to remember these. It drives me nuts. 82. I can't do it. You even get the first number right. Well, Mr. Wright, does this tell you anything? The ID number of the victim at the police department. 584-2189. Tells me something. Actually, it does, Your Honor. It does. I think. Meaning? It has to be what I think it is. But what does this mean? Well, let's hear what the defense has to say. You say the ID number of the detective who was murdered at the police department tells you something. What does it tell you? Witness. What is it, Mr. Wright? You're grinning like a schoolgirl on prom night. But not an anime fan on prom night. They don't grin. They run away from explosions and that look like pizza. No, I got confused. This is news? Huh? Just come out with it, both guns blazing like you always do. The police department, the prosecutor's office. 2 places, 2 detectives murdered at one time. Actually, I happen to have a police ID number here. Oh ho, is it yours? No, Your Honor, I'm a defense attorney, remember? This is the ID number of our victim, Detective Goodman. Shame on you, Righto. Personnel IDs are top secret. Detective Goodman's ID number is 5842189. And this means what exactly? Huh? Wait, that ID number we heard from the chief earlier. That started with 82... I've forgotten. Didn't even get the first number right. Again! The number the chief of police gave us was 5842189. Wait a second, Wright. What is this? Mean? That's what I want to know. The two ID numbers are identical. In other words, the detective killed in the police department's evidence room was Bruce Goodman. What does our witness think about that? Oh, sharp as attack, righto. Sharp as attack. But wait, Detective Goodman is our victim. He was killed at 5:15 in the underground parking lot. Yet a Detective Bruce Goodman was also killed at the police department, in the evidence room at the exact same time. That's impossible. So what we're saying is, the same person was killed at the same time, and in a completely different location. Order, order, order! Chief, what does this mean? No. What I want to know is, why didn't I hear about this? Yes, it's top secret, fine, but I'm the prosecutor in charge of this case. Now, just wait a second, Worthy. No need to get all flustered. Shellshock just gave me a shout-out. Thank you, Shellshock. I don't know if you're here, but thank you. Your Honor, the police department has made a grave error in this case. Wait, I said wait. Or didn't you hear me? The oversight, the grave error. Mr. Edgeworth, they're yours. What? How dare? We informed you yesterday. Excuse me. I believe it was our Officer Meekins who brought you the news. Officer Meekins? Mr. Wright, where have we heard that name before? Wait, aha! You don't mean him? According to Meekins, you didn't accept the report. Hard to believe. I'm eating a nut. Hey, Shellshock, thank you for the raid. I saw the shout-out before. I was like, is he here right now? I don't know. But your officer, he told me. He said the report had nothing to do with the Lana Sky incident. What are you streaming tonight? More Battle Network? Or something else? Sorry, I was eating something just now, so I'm making, like, big mouth noises. I'm also blowing my throat out again. Detective Bruce Goodman murdered in the police department evidence room. Spent so much time trying to get to the Undernet in Battle Network 3, just beat Flame Man. Nice. The Undernet in 3 is hard to navigate, but it's definitely one of the highlights once you get there. The story starts getting really good at that point. Mr. Edgeworth, the victim's name is written right on top of the report. Gah! Why didn't your officer tell me? Honestly, I'm not sure if that officer was capable of making the connection. He did seem challenged. In any case, this is a serious error, a gross negligence of duty on your part, Worthy. But sir... You could have submitted the report this morning to the court as evidence. Then I... No such luck this time, Worthy. Or should I say, unworthy. What? Now what was that second rule of evidence law, Well, Mr. Wright? Huh? Oh, well, it's, Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to that case on trial. And how's this rule relevant? Normally, you'd submit a list of evidence to be used in the court before the trial. This report wasn't on that list. So, what does that mean? I couldn't submit this evidence until a connection was proven in court. The connection was just proven by Righto over there. Good job, Righto, my boy. Huh? I was just doing my job. No. No! Shown up by that asshole. It seems we've come to the end of this trial. I know you're going through a tough time, Worthy, but with all those rumors. You were even given the defendant's chair just this past December. I apologize for this terrible lack of due diligence on my part. Mr. Edgeworth, please just give me one day. I'll get to the bottom of what happened if it's the last thing I do. You'd better get results this time, really. You have my profound apologies, sir. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. I don't think there's ever been an error this serious in the history of this court. I will grant one further day as the prosecution has requested. Will that be sufficient, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Whatever your punishment for this is, I hope for your sake it's not decisive. Very well. Court is adjourned. That's a lot of reading. And I think I wanted to roll right into Justice for All after this. Which I'm not doing now, but... February 23rd, 2:15 p.m., Wright and Company Law Offices. Mr. Wright, so... What's going on with the case, anyway? I'm a little confused. Huh? Well, let's see. What is going on? The victim, Detective Bruce Goodman, was stabbed to death after 5 p.m. on the 21st. He died in the prosecutor's parking lot, and the police department's evidence room. What's this "and the evidence room" part? The prosecutor's office and police department are 30 minutes apart by car. Well, that's what we're gonna find out, or try to at least. Alright, let's do it. Glad she's in good spirits, but I'm not sure she's gonna be much help with this. Don't be so sure, Mr. Wright. Huh? Look, we're in this together, right? I'll prove that these thick-rimmed glasses of mine aren't just for show. Let's go. Science awaits us. No, I really don't think we should worry about the police department murder. There wasn't even a body found there. Who cares? Yeah, it was only our victim who was killed in their evidence room. Biggie. No biggie. Besides, my sister would never do such a thing. I know it. My sister erasing evidence at this crime scene? Never. Even though she says they don't get along, Emma really likes her sister. That's not it at all. It's just... We're both professionals at what we do, and I trust her. Big words for a high school student. But whether there was blood on the floor or not, the water in that oil drum washed it all away. Ignore the strength of my science at your own peril, Mr. Wright. Huh? What's that grin for? This situation calls for one thing, and that is... luminol testing fluid. Luminol? Blood is sticky stuff, you know. You can't just wash it away with a little water. If you remember Great Ace Attorney, this came up in there too, except in that game, it was like a wacky, colorful rainbow shit that Holmes made. Sholmes. Blood is sticky stuff, you know. You can't just wash it away with a little water. Even if you can't see it, it's still there. Wouldn't the police have already done those tests? Never trust anyone's eyes but your own, Mr. Wright. Just give it a try. Me? Why do I have to do it? I'm a minor. I can't even drink yet. Testing bloodstains with this stuff, not drinking it. Here, look, I'll lend you these glasses. Huh? You had an extra pair of these things? Red. To test for a blood reaction, just spray the luminol on it. Like this, see? Press the A button to spray it on. Okay, let's find us some bloodstains. So, in the DS version, obviously, you use the touchscreen for this. Your eyes shining behind those glasses. So this is a blood stain. It's so... Ugh. Emma, you're shaking. It's just, this is my first time seeing real blood. Scientific investigation in action. Okay, well, we definitely know this is a blood stain. But doesn't something about you strike you... doesn't something strike you as odd? Scientifically speaking, of course. What's odd about this? Scientifically? The bloodstain's location? Why, the bloodstain's location, of course. It's elementary. That's not how you use that phrase. Huh? Why is that elementary? I mean, I would think that if there were a fight, you'd expect some bloodstains there. I suppose you might think that. Come on, Mr. Wright, we're all counting on you. There's something odd about the bloodstain, but if it's not the location of the blood, maybe it's the amount of blood that's odd? I definitely think so. I mean, look at all the blood on the sole of the victim's shoe. It is pretty strange. If they'd fought there, there'd have to be more blood than this. Hey, Mr. Wright, I'm gonna mark up the floor plans when we find the bloodstain, okay? See, I'm pretty handy to have around, right? Yeah, and this stuff's pretty handy, too. I saved up my allowance to buy that. Luminol testing fluid received from one very proud-looking Emma Sky. Solution used for scientific investigations. Finds blood traces. Spray to use. Can't be sure that the police will reveal all their evidence in court. Sometimes they fail to mention evidence that doesn't fit with their view of the case. Let's drag out the hidden evidence into the light of the day. Yeah, feels like we're really investigating a crime now, doesn't it? Guess we should give this a spray and anything suspicious. Ha! I wonder how that fluid of yours would react to a nice deli box. Miss Starr! You only trust your own eyes, Not bad, you two. This day-old deli box is on the house. That does look like good sushi, though. Sorry, it's just that kind of lead-in doesn't really get my mouth watering. Alright, doesn't look like there's anything new to examine here. You certainly put me in a tight spot today. My apologies, Miss Starr, but... No, it's okay. It was my fault. Oh, we know. I witnessed everything from that security room right there. But I was afraid that wouldn't sound convincing enough, you see. I was wrong to think that. I'm sorry. Sorry? You lied on the witness stand. That's unforgivable. Little girl, don't forget what's important here. Even if the place I witnessed the events from was different, I still saw what I saw. I saw Chief Prosecutor Sky stab a man in cold blood, and that testimony still stands. I swear it on my honor as detective. She stabbed Goodman. I know this photograph has something important to tell us, but what? So, you were a detective, weren't you, Miss Starr? Yes, it was a long time ago. Well, 2 years ago. No matter how hardened the criminal, when they faced me, they coughed it up. Coughed it up? They confessed. They babbled like babies. You know, I may seem like a demon sometimes, but I can be an angel too. I wouldn't doubt it. Every day I drag the dirt out of the mouths of suspect after suspect. And before long they called me the Cough-Up Queen. Oh, and here I thought someone had gotten food poisoning from your lunches. And you were let go? Or fired? I felt that I had found my dream... Oh, yeah, okay, I read that. I don't want to reread dialogue. Gotta save my breath. It's all because of that case. The SL9 incident. SL9? Wait, she doesn't mean... Take a look at this. You. Yes? Said you wanted some hot tea, right? No, but thanks. She didn't even look at it. You must have to brew the... Oh, yeah, we've read this. Pre-infused steam, blah, blah, blah. What do you think about this? The SL9 incident is written on that knife. And on that note. Goodman. Goodman was the head detective on that case, you know? Really? That knife was evidence from that case. The murder weapon. It was due for transferal the very day that Goodman was killed. As I suspected, SL9 isn't over. Not yet. Do you think you could tell us more about the SL9 incident? Apparently not. I had one of those up until 2 years ago. Back when you were the cough-up queen, right? We found this ID here in this parking lot. Well, there's no mistaking it, it's definitely Goodman's. But it's the same ID as the man who was killed at the police department. That's impossible. Wish I could be so sure. So that's where Miss Star saw the incident from. Can probably see quite a lot from up there. That probably means she wasn't lying when she said she saw Miss Sky stab him. Where's the security guard, anyway? Well, this is something I just heard, but apparently went out to buy coffee for Miss Star. That woman is a force to be reckoned with. Oh my god. Is this the famous divider? Wait, shit, I didn't get to read it. Is this the famous divider? It sure helped us knock a hole in that testimony today. Come to think of it, this divider helped our whole case more than the actual witness. The Great Divider, a chip off the old parking block. It's just a wall, scientifically speaking. So this is the famous oil drum. Well, no time like the present. I'll try to kick it over myself. Hiya! That's okay. Don't cry. And that Lana Sky must be one strong woman. B-block is through there. That's where the visitors park. So Miss Star climbed over this fence? It seems so, yeah. That fence is 9 feet high, at least. Well, no time like the present. Think I'll give it a little try. Ah! It's okay, don't cry. Where's the Lunchland? Maybe there's a Lunchland Olympics team? That's about as red as a sports car can get. Yep, it's pretty red, alright. Body was found in Edgeworth's car trunk. And the lock on the trunk was broken, too. Gonna get some sleep, take care. Thank you, Shell Shock. I'm feeling pretty tired, too. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna go. I want to go till, like, 4, but I don't think it's gonna happen. So the question is, why did Miss Sky choose this car? So, what model car is it? I think it was called a sedan or a coupe, something like that. Those are car types, Mr. Wright, not models. You're a guy, aren't you, Mr. Wright? You're supposed to know these things. Maybe it's about time I got my driver's license. That's right, an attorney without a driver's license. That's where we found the note. 221 SL9. The SL9 incident, it was a Prius. A case that was due for transferal the day of the murder. And the detective in charge of the case was the victim. I wonder what kind of case this SL9 incident thing was. Kinda hard to guess just knowing the case number. Looks like a piece of petrified provolone. Huh? It's not. It's my attorney's badge. I think a petrified piece of provolone would fetch more in the open market. Look, my badge isn't up for sale. Not yet, at least. Body with Edgeworth's knife stuck in it was found in Edgeworth's car. I think he owes me his gratitude. Gratitude? Why, if I hadn't witnessed the crime, Mr. Edgeworth would have been the suspect. I wonder. Still, it's strange. Why didn't our chief prosecutor have her own murder weapon ready? How do I get her to talk more? was when I went to grab the chief prosecutor. She dropped that phone on the pavement. That's when you heard her talking about the muffler, right? Little did I know, it was a trap. The red car's muffler and the prosecutor's red muffler. What was Miss Sky really trying to say, I wonder? If you think about it, I could have taken that picture from the guard room. But even I get flustered sometimes. So he went straight to the scene of the crime. I rushed towards the chain link fence in an effort to stop the murder. That's when I took this photo, yes. In other words, 5 minutes after the crime. Those 5 minutes are the whole problem. The whole of my testimony, as it were. The 5 minutes weren't the problem, Miss Starr. You lying was the problem. Listen, little girl, I've had my testimony disregarded before. And I wasn't going to have it disregarded again. Just like that time. That time. There we go. That incident that really opened up my eyes to the truth. We're nothing to them. Disposable. Disposable? To who? 2 years ago. It was the biggest case I'd ever handled. The police and prosecutors were desperate for decisive evidence. So they didn't solve it? On the contrary, it was solved quite cleanly. The criminal was caught and executed. Executed? Yes, the criminal got what was coming to him. It doesn't get any cleaner than that. The only problem was they never did find decisive evidence. Not a shred. What? But the criminal was executed, right? On the basis of evidence of a sort. Made-up evidence. What? You mean they executed someone with fabricated evidence? The best part came several months after the trial. Every detective involved in that case was dealt with. Some were demoted to patrolmen, others found themselves out of a job. And you were one of those? Myself and one other person you know well. Wait, could it be? Exactly. Detective Jake Marshall. Oops, I mean Police Department Security Detail Officer Jake Marshall. As professional detectives, we investigated that case from every angle. Jake was particularly determined. And then, it was over, and he was demoted. However, he hasn't forgotten, and neither have I. You haven't forgotten SL9? There was another side to that case, a hidden side. That's what we're after now. And no one up in their fancy offices can stop us. Demote to scrub monkey 3rd class. Good line. Wait, those lunches you sell. Whoa. There's only one reason I come to sell lunches in this accursed office. I come here to meet old friends, boyfriends that can help me investigate. Miss Star's old boyfriends. How many does she have, anyway? Just when all the detectives on SL9 have disappeared, we find new evidence. There has to be a connection. So, Rookie, what? It seems like you're serious about investigating this case. Yes. Then you should take this. Salisbury steak lunch? So they must have 7 evil exes. Well, apparently she doesn't have any exes. She just gets more boyfriends. Her level of boyfriend doesn't decrease, it only increases. I know a certain guy who might help you if you tempt him with this treat. Excellent for putting Officer Marshall in a good mood. Miss Starr, Officer Marshall, is he your... Are you his... Are you going out? Why do you want to know? I was just wondering what happened to him. A long time ago when he was helping my sister do cases, he was so nice. He got along so well with my sister, it made me jealous. And he was nice to me back then, too. This would be when Officer Marshall was a detective. But now he's so cold. Jake and I are merely cooperating on this investigation. We're putting the past to rest, as it were. Nothing more than that. I see. Thank you. Officer Jake Marshall. God, that looks good. Wow, my mouth is watering. I can almost hear the sound of the steak frying on the grill. No doubt it's all cold and tough by now, though. No, I'm sure it's delicious. Miss Star poured her heart into making this. As long as she didn't put any other organs in there. Let's see. Ingredients? Meat. She must mean beef. She probably just wrote it generically. Yeah. Let's hope so. Of course, as a scientist, I have to check what additive she used. Go to town. It says here, hours of sweat and labor. So that's why the sauce is so salty. Those look good, though. Salisbury steak, gimme. It's good. It's good. According to Miss Star's testimony, Miss Sky used her phone right after the murder. She called you, right? But she hung up right away, and it was a bad connection. I couldn't hear anything. Because it was an underground parking lot, I suppose. She did say something about a muffler, but got cut off. Okay. Well, where should we begin? Oh, well, isn't it obvious? We should begin with, you know, that thing. The mystery of how the victim, I guess. How could one man, Detective Goodman, be killed in 2 places simultaneously? Oh, well, you see, we should go to the police department. The evidence room, was it? I'm not being very useful here, am I? No, you're being very helpful. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. There's that business with him not reading the officer's report. About the killing at the police department, right. The chief of police was right about that. But I can't help but think. Someone at the police department doesn't like Edgeworth. Oh, I picked that again. Here, see this? I've noticed shit. I've noticed that defense attorneys have a tendency to want to show people things. What is this, a behavioral study of lawyers? This stuff is pretty expensive. You don't say. How much does it cost? I'd say about $10 per gram. I save up my allowance to buy it. Your allowance? Does your sister give you that? Yes, we don't have parents. Right. Sometimes she even gives me a bottle instead of my allowance. A bottle of luminol testing fluid. Man, I just take the allowance myself. Someone used a marker to write their name on this. Emma Sky. Don't tell me you bring this with you everywhere you go. Well, you never know when something might go down. Just what kind of world do you think we live in? America, in the 2020s. Though this is actually 2017 at this point. February 2017. Why would this have been in the car's exhaust pipe? It's evidence from an old case, right? Right, the SL9 incident. It was already solved, apparently. This knife was stolen on the day of the evidence transferal. Maybe I should look into this SL9 incident. That's not... what's that typo? S-L9? That's not right. It's SL-9. Good. Good job, me. I found a typo. Photograph. Miss Star must have been seeing things and photographing things. This proves Miss Sky was there at the scene of the crime. She's connected to this crime somehow, but how? like Miss Sky's in questioning. I hope the detectives aren't yelling at her. How'd you kill him in 2 places at the same time? Can you imagine? How's she supposed to answer that? Wait a second. Did Mr. Gant say that they arrested a suspect in the police department murder? Let's come back later. One murder at the prosecutor's office, one at the police department. He must be frozen in fear, thinking that he might be next. Don't scare the poor guy. Well, this place is as classy as today as it was yesterday. I'm sure it'll be just as classy tomorrow, Emma. Incidentally, Edgeworth's not here right now. I'm sure he's off doing important investigations. I hope that's what he's doing. Guess we'll have to come back. Police department entrance. How come I could go... Fuck. How come I could go directly to criminal affairs from the detention center, but I can't go... I have to go outside from there to then get in. I don't know. Whatever. February 23rd, police department entrance. It's even busier here today than it was yesterday. The detectives are running around so fast they're blurring. Suppose it makes sense. The detective did get killed here, after all. So the evidence room, the scene of the crime. According to the pamphlet we got at the front desk. Here it is. She's like a kid in an amusement park. Oh, a real crime scene. Let's go take a look. You idiot, what were you thinking? Where's your head? Sir, it's right here, sir. Guess he wasn't saluting. He was showing the detective where his head was. They make a good pair. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say he's dancing. Speaking of dancing, the whole police department has been dancing around like crazy since yesterday. Can I take out his batteries? Just can't help but feel he's going to do something naughty. By the way, if you don't like that music that plays there, get ready, because you're going to be hearing it a lot very soon. Detectives in there look pretty busy. Just imagine right now, behind those doors, a police drama in action. Somehow this thought fails to excite me. Wow, everyone looks deadly serious here. Well, there was a vicious murder of a police detective at the department. Yes, but the same detective was also killed at the same time in the prosecutor's lot. Makes my head hurt. Well, first things first, let's go check out the police department crime scene. Yeah, you sound dead set on investigating. But don't mess up, or we could wind up dead. I doubt anyone wants more mysteries or dead bodies around right now. But it doesn't look like anyone's going to be much help either. Detective's desk's computer finding a lot tighter than you expect. I guess detectives don't spit the same dialogue as last time. Babe's in uniform. That must be the chief of detectives. He's glued to his computer screen. What? Detective killed in the evidence room? Tell no one outside the police department. No, I told that old lady at the restaurant everything. Someone's getting a demotion. So this is the police mascot, is it? The Blue Badger, future star of the police force. Sounds a little changed from the one outside. Ah, well, the Dancing Blue Badger TM is still under development, you see. You have it trademarked? Absolutely, it's cutting-edge stuff. Very now. Showed this out here to my daughter, and she burst into tears. Don't show her the moving mock-up outside, then you'll give her nightmares. Mumbling something to himself. I know, the killer used dry ice. If you put it between the latch and the door, the room could be sealed shut. This is good. I'll win a writer's award for sure. He's not writing a report, he's writing a novel. nut. What in the music? That was my nuts! Oh, I only got 4 left! I'm gonna have one. Okay, so it's very salty. It's salt and vinegar. It's not bad. Just extremely salty. That being said, not a ton of salt in the ingredients. 140 milligrams per serving. And there's 6 servings per container. So that's not even the fully daily recommended amount of salt based on the basic 2,000 calorie diet. Is it 2,000 calorie? We had this talk before. Yeah, 2,000 calories a day. Which, again, isn't super accurate. Evidence rooms... something. Guard something. What's with the decor in this place? It's very eccentric. According to the pamphlet, this is the guard station for the evidence room. So beyond that door is the evidence room. The scene of the crime? It sure is that way. It sure seems that way. Oh. What's wrong? It's those cacti. They're so prickly, so imposing. It's hard to think straight. Can't handle the cacti. Stay out of the desert. What I want to know is, if this is a guard station, where's the guard? I have a feeling I know who he is already. Looks like there's a video feed from the evidence room here. There's a light blinking below the monitor. It says recording. Bet we could use this computer to check on who went in and went out of there. All that alcohol up there. Security guard uniform hanging here. Looks more like a costume than a uniform, really. A leather jacket, leather pants, a leather... What was that called again? A punchy? A paunchy? A pinchy? I know, a poochie. Wait, maybe that wasn't it. It's a poncho, but I think I'll keep that information to myself for the time being. Yipes, these sure are prickly. They must be the real deal. I would think just one big one would be enough to be sufficient. These cacti are a lot like my sister, actually. How so? Encased in a cold, rigid shell, with spines pointing in every direction. Just like her. I'm not so sure I see the resemblance. It's more an attitude thing than a physical similarity. The swinging door makes this place look like some kind of saloon. But look, it's nailed shut. Can't get in that way. Karma. Actually, that gives me ideas. I should talk to you later about that. Of course not. If you went in through here, the cactus would fall over. Ouch. I'd say be more of a yarg myself. Oh, I thought the hat would have something there. Also, I didn't notice the sign says Texas. I don't think you could make that out very well in the DS version. Look on the floor, a lasso. Looks like it's set up to trap something. A trap here? Wait, I know. Maybe someone was trying to catch a wild bull in here, but the lasso missed. You sure have an active imagination. The evidence room is beyond that door. Let's just walk in. Won't open. You thought it'd be open? Did you know in Norway, Texas is a slang term for something totally outlandish? I mean, let's be honest. When you think of Texas when you're in America, quite often something quite outlandish comes to mind. Also, did you know the phrase, don't mess with Texas, is literally a don't hoot, give a hoot, don't pollute slogan? Like, it's literally just meant to stop people from littering. As in, don't make a mess in Texas. That's what it means, and people use that phrase seriously, which makes it all the more hilarious now, knowing that. I think we need someone's permission to go in there first. This place is charged with frantic energy, as always. Please! Huh? Wasn't that? One steak lunch, please! Oh, it's you! That makes no sense? No, listen. Don't mess with Texas. Don't make a mess. It's literally meant... The phrase was invented to literally stop people from polluting. That's what the phrase meant originally. And then people took it to make like, oh, don't... So people turned it into a political thing. Which is really funny. One steak lunch, please. Oh, it's you. Detective Gumshoe. Now's no time for chit-chat, pal. I'm a busy man. But I really need a steak lunch from Lunchland. Oh, you mean one of these? Actually, it's not for sale. I think I just heard the sound of his heart breaking. Now's no time for despair. We've got a criminal. Now we just need evidence. The criminal? You mean... You heard about the stabbing in the police department evidence room, right, pal? Oh, time for a nut. We're doing flashbacks. I got to eat a nut. Got 2 nuts left. It's the biggest scandal to hit the station in ages. Everything's topsy-turvy. Detective Gumshoe, who was it? Listen, pal, all I know is I need me a steak lunch, pronto. Standing around here talking isn't going to fill my belly. Wait, don't leave. If you want to know more, head down to the detention center, pal. Questioning should be over, so I figure he's down there having a good cry. Later. He ran off to the evidence room. Well, this investigation is off to a running start. I cast Peck. Still, I do feel better about things, a little. I mean, they caught the person who stabbed Detective Goodman, didn't they? Yeah, I guess they did. Best to not go too far down that road right now. Things will just get confusing. What was that? Sir, that's what I'm saying. Me, a perpetrator? I'd say I was the perpetrated against, sir. That's what I'd say. Hi. Greetings, sir. Was this armband in Japanese in the English version of the DS game? Or do they translate that? And I'm curious, I want to look. Give me a second. Stands out because his face is so simplistic. Oh, never mind. This site isn't loading at all. It's being awful. Wait, I know who you are. Excuse me, but is Mr. Edgeworth anywhere on the premises? Why am I rereading this? Officer Meekins, so you're a guard here at the detention center? No, sir, I'm not, sir. I'm just a lost patrolman, like a little lost lamb, sir. Oh, I get it. You're here to deliver a report. No, sir, how should I say this? Wait, he isn't... Is he? You, Officer Meekins, you didn't... Did you... Perpetrator Officer Meekins reporting, sir! What? What? Now this is an unexpected turn of events. Look, even his arm is also bandaged up. Seeing a fellow patrolman here must make him worry about his own fate in life. No comments from the peanut gallery. Armband has always been there, but I sure didn't notice. Yeah. Poor Officer Meekins. I think he knows he's being watched. The armband was always in Japanese, even in the DS version, right? That's what I'm curious about. I couldn't find it because Court Records is loading very slowly. Yep, it was always in Japanese. Okay, that's a very weird thing to not change. Oh, I forgot he shows up in one of the Edgeworth games as well. Probably shouldn't have said that right now, but whatever. Sorry, give me one moment. Okay, sorry. Something. Alright. One more. Ah! Let me just land on my back. Okay. Not getting anywhere there. Sorry. Sir, I'm a patrolman with General Affairs, sir. Sir! Ow, I can hear you fine, Officer Meekins. I had some business that day, sir, and so I went to the evidence room, sir. The guard station in front of the room was empty, sir. So normally there's a guard at the evidence room. That's right, sir, because evidence is kept in the evidence room, sir. Now the security officer was none other than Officer Marshall. Marshall? Then, sir, I happened to glance at the security room monitor. That's when I saw him, sir. A suspicious person in the evidence room. A suspicious person, sir. A suspicious person! Yeah! What the heck is this guy doing? So what happened then? After that, sir, everything went white. I saw red and I blacked out. And when I came to, I was here, in the detention center. How long were you out? Days? Might I ask, what happened to your hand? Sir, there was no one to bandage me, sir. So I did what I could to wrap it up, sir. A bandage on his hand. Just like Miss Sky. Yet another similarity between this case and the one at the prosecutor's office. First things first, tell us how you hurt your hand. Mike Meekins, age 22, patrolman with General Affairs, suspected of killing Goodman in the evidence room. About your hand, did that happen during the course of the crime? Well, you see, sir, don't you think you should just confess? But, sir, but there was nothing I could do. Nothing you could do? Sir, to tell you the truth, sir, when it happened, when the detective pointed that knife at me, I just hollered, sir. And the next thing I knew, I was unconscious. The next thing you knew, you were... Huh? Then when I opened my eyes, I was alone in the evidence room, sir. All alone. Alone because Detective Goodman had disappeared. What? Then when I looked down, I was gushing blood from my hand, sir. Oh, the shock. Oh, the sorrow, sir. Can you imagine how I felt? Victim's body disappeared. That's some story. I don't mean to pry, but you are the perpetrator, correct? You killed Detective Bruce Goodman in the evidence room, right? Sir, please don't look at me with those sad puppy dog eyes, sir. If you have to label me as a perpetrator or victim, sir, then label me victim. I would, but... I would... what happened there? I would, but you happen to be in detention, and alive when well at that. Ah, yes, well, that's true, sir. I suppose you could say that. Did you know the victim, Detective Goodman? Well, sir, if I had to label him as a stranger or total stranger, then I'd say he would leans heavily on the total stranger side. So you didn't know him. Sir, I work in a tiny department devoid of light or other creature comforts. I don't know any detectives. So if he was a total stranger, why did you stab him? Sir, I had no intention of killing him, sir. None. Nor do I have any recollection of killing him, sir. At least someone here is more confused than I am. Sir Meekins, could you take a look at this? I'm sorry, sir. Really sorry, but I have no idea what that is. Maybe you should ask Mr. Edgeworth, sir. He's passing the buck, Mr. Wright. Takes a special kind of man to pass the buck to Edgeworth. Officer Meekins, this is for you. I'm scared of knives, sir. It's okay, I just wanted you to take a look at it. That's it, sir. Last night, sir. That's the one. I was an apple, sir, in my dream, sir. And I was being peeled. On second thought, you don't have to look at the knife. He's overreacting to the knife, but I guess he's been through a lot. Hey, that thing that you have there, is that from that day? It was taken at the prosecutor's office. The day that Detective Goodman's body was found in the trunk. So this means I'm a free man, innocent. If it's a dream, sir, then I hope I never wake up. This is a dream. You'd better wake up right now. Do you think you could take a look at this? Hey, that's it, sir, that's it! That's what? My head was a blank until this very moment. But, sir, now I remember, sir. You mean you remember what happened? Correct! That card was the cause of it all. This ID card? Exactly, sir, that's exactly it. Nothing could be more exact, sir, nothing! I better pry into this one a little deeper. Officer Meekins, have a look at this. Go ahead, sir. Laugh at me, sir. Huh? I know what you want to say. You're going to tell me how she has one just like it. Me? But why would I... I know, sir, I know. I'm the only one without a girl with matching badges. Nowhere. I'm alone. All alone. Is that so wrong? Life isn't all about high school sweethearts and youthful romance, sir. Is he talking about those badges on her coat? I like to think there's a difference between my badge and a fashion accessory. If you know what happens later in the series, you know there's some significance to that statement that Phoenix just made. Can you tell me, what is it you do remember? Well, sir, you might say I'm a lost little patrolman. A lost little lamb, if you will. I didn't know who Mr. Detective Goodman was. Mr. Detective. I didn't know who Mr. Detective Goodman was in the evidence. I didn't know Mr. Detective Goodman, who was in the evidence room. And that's why you thought he looked suspicious. Sir, I entered the evidence room and asked the man to show me his ID card. Well, that sounds pretty much by the book so far. That's right, sir. That's what I've been trying to tell you. So you asked Detective Goodman to show his ID card. What did he do? That's the thing. Suddenly he pointed a knife at me. What? Sir, I assure you I was as flustered as you are right now. So I whooped and leapt at him. Detective Goodman pointed a knife at him. Do unto others before they do unto you. My father's own words, sir. What happened then? Well, my eyes, sir. Everything went white. When I awoke, I was here. Right. So, Officer Meekins, why is it that they arrested you? What do you mean, Emma? Let's look at what we know. Now, Officer Meekins didn't know Detective Goodman, and the victim who we met at the scene of the crime didn't show his ID card. In other words, we have no way of knowing if the victim really was the victim. And if this body just disappeared from the evidence room, we don't know if anyone actually died. That's it, sir. That's what I wanted to say. That is, I did say something along those lines. Huh? But you still ended up in here. They told me that it had to be him, sir. On that day, at that time, Detective Goodman was definitely in the evidence room. That's what they said. But you don't remember the events clearly. No, but the videotape is quite clear. Huh? Videotape? On the security camera. The crime, my crime, the crime I swore to stamp out. It's there. It's me. On the tape. And you waited until now to tell us this? I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, sir. I'll hand over my badge. I don't deserve it. No thanks. I have my own. I guess we go better check out the crime scene. Hey, Mr. Wright, look who's standing at the Chief of Detectives' desk. It's Police Chief Gant. And you're sure this is all, You know what it means if there's anything missing. Sir, I'm sure it's most likely totally perfect. We checked all of his drawers, lockers, garbage cans, bags, coat pockets, hats, under his seat cushion, behind his computer monitor, inside his personal coffee machine. I see. Well, if anything does turn up, you call me right away. Deal? Yes, sir. We'll scour the place again, sir. Chief of Detectives looks a little flustered. Right, oh my boy. How you been? Swim much? Check his butt cheeks. Oh, Chief Gant. Reporting for duty, sir. Why are you saluting him, Mr. Wright? I was wondering, could you take a look at this? Ah, sorry, Righto. I'm through with that stuff. Through, I say. Go find the guy who can't seem to sit still out there, the busy one. The guy who can't sit still? Does he mean Detective Gumshoe? Either him or the dancing blue badger. Doesn't look like he's gonna react to anything here. Is Edgeworth going to be okay? Oh, Worthy? Oh, you know, they're doing a little inquiry committee with him. Sounds like an inquisition. Yep, well, they had no end of trouble with the boys since last year. You mean the incident on Gourd Lake? It doesn't look good having a top prosecutor sit in the defendant's seat, does it? And you got someone else found guilty in that case, right, righto? Von Karma. A legend he was, undefeated in his 40-year career. But in court you fixed it so he was caught for forging evidence. Wait, I didn't do anything wrong. He did forge evidence. In any case, the prosecutor's office is in a bit of turmoil, you might say. Why, they just do about anything to restore their reputation. Now, depending on what the inquiry committee decides, it could be bad for Worthy. What? It's downright odd, I tell you, the detective getting killed on their turf, too, I mean. They're being the prosecutors, I assume? Scientifically speaking, it's impossible. Yes, but that's what the evidence is saying. Goodman was stabbed in 2 locations at the same time. That's what it says. What evidence is this? Now, Righto, can't give away all our secrets just like that. In this particular, well, it's a little sensitive, and I can't talk about it. I wasn't expecting much anyway. You know, the one thing I hate most of all is hiding stuff. Secrets. Can't stand them. But you know, it's a full-time job just keeping the Chief of Detectives' trap shut. Ah, he was the one you were picking on earlier. Huh? You saw that? Whoops. Oh. I wonder what it was that he wanted the Chief of Detectives to do. Let's see if we can kind of discreetly ask him. Oh, sorry you had to see that. What exactly did the Chief of Police want you to do? Well, see over there? That's Goodman's desk. He wanted me to check for anything that might be a clue. They took away every past piece of garbage in the trash can. So nothing belonging to Detective Goodman is still here? Of course not. Well, except for this. What, you kept something? Sure, why not? It's not that important. You didn't even finish writing it. It's a lost item report, but it's only half complete. A lost item? Did Detective Goodman lose something? The date on it is February 21st. Better make note of that, just in case. Half-written document dated 2/21. Can only be submitted to the Chief of Police. Goodman's lost item report. I should really get back to investigating the police department crime scene. Lost item report. Date 221. Date lost 221. Name Bruce Goodman. ID 5, and then he wrote down the wrong number, so he scratched it out. Item lost status report. Interesting. Why would he have to scratch the number out? Why would he forget his ID number? One more nut left. I gotta consume the nut. Yes. Yes. Yes, I got it. Sometimes you feel like a nut, and sometimes you feel like salt and vinegar. I'm full of vinegar tonight. What are we supposed to do now? Now you want salt and vinegar chips? Well, here's the thing. This can has a bunch of powder left in it, which is like all the salt and vinegar flavored powder. So if I want to eat that and kill myself, I could go right ahead. What am I doing now? Answer me, how many fingers do you see? I'm sorry, I don't know. Well, that's 20 for the left, but nowhere near that for the right. Get glasses, officer. That was a salute was an eye test. Make a good pair. It wouldn't kill me, it would just be very uncomfortable. What do I do? Well, this has not helped me at all. Where the hell do I go? Go to Edgy Boy? He's not in his office. Worked as tight as one might expect. Easy on the eyes, polished so I can see my own reflection. Blah, blah, blah. Read that. He won such a prestigious award. Why would we just leave it on the couch? Yeah, you'd think he'd want to show off this thing more than that giant steel samurai. Then again, Edgeworth has always been like that. Really? Hey, I should write this down. Tell me what he was like as a kid. Back in elementary school, he won awards for all kinds of things. Speech contests, essays, playing the flute, golf tournaments. That doesn't exactly sound like typical elementary school stuff. But he always hated receiving awards. He'd make some smart remark like, I know the path I've walked. No one else needs to tell me. That's how he's always been. Kind of gets under your skin, doesn't it? Nah, I don't think so. investigate everything in here. He's not here. Do you need to show Gant the slip? Oh, I didn't think of doing that. How did I miss that? I was showing it to everyone, and I didn't think of showing it to Gant, because he doesn't react to anything else. I was wondering... Nope. Well, I have to apparently find Detective Gumshoe. You know what, though? I think I just figured it out. Because I think the hint is that I have to examine... No. Thought maybe examining the blue badger make him show up. There's a handprint on it. Yeah, I just checked it. Nah. I recall there's a spot in this case that I get stuck in. That I used to get stuck in when I played this. Because I had no idea what to do. But I think it had to do with the muffler. No, I think it is this part of the case. I don't remember what to do, though. There's like one specific thing you have to... You know what? It might be in the underground parking lot. There might be something to examine there. I seem to recall something like missable in there that like you go back and get later. I swore there was like something on the ground. Maybe something I have to present to Angel. I don't know. You give that to Jake like I asked, won't you? You and Officer Marshall, are you going out? Jake and I are cooperating on an investigation, that's all. We're just putting the past to rest. Thank you. I don't think that was doing anything, unfortunately. Oh, permission to enter. We had to ask permission the whole time. Actually, I was wondering if I could ask you for a favor. Well, I never thought the day would come when Wright asked me for help. I was wondering if we could investigate the evidence room. Now, Wright-o. Actually, I'm sorry, I don't need to investigate after all. Wright-o, please, do I look like a selfish man? Huh? Heck, if anyone asked me, sir, can I borrow $50, I'd give them $50, no problem. So go ahead, investigate that room to your heart's content. Knock yourself out. This goes to show you never know until you ask. And for you, here, you could borrow this. Hey, this is a detective's ID card, isn't it? That's a special card. Oh, that's a special card for guests, so don't lose it. Yes, sir, it's an honor. You just run along and do your best now. Later, folks. Heh, looks pretty cool on my lapel, right? Just think, a real ID. You seem happy. Yes, sir, because we get to go to the evidence room now, sir. I think this place is a bad influence on the girl. You want Gant to buy you a quiche. I know what you were trying to say. And cut yourself off for, but... Evidence room's beyond that door. And we have this ID card from Chief Gant. Let's just walk in. Won't open. Aha, the card reader's turned off, see? What is that security guard thinking? Howdy, partners. Well, well, what's made by Bambina's sky so gray? Officer Marshall? Why does it have to be him? What's that? Why does it have to be him look for? As you may have surmised, this here's my saloon. We're here to investigate the crime scene. Yeehaw! That's the card you got there in your chest. That's better than the sheriff's badge in these parts. Yeehaw? Well, what you standing there for? Get along, little doggies. The crime scene's awaiting. Look like the card reader's back on again. While we're here, I was wondering if I could ask you some questions. Sorry, cowboy, but I got no mind to tangle with you hombres. You're busy, then? Did I say that? I only said I didn't wish to speak with you. Actually, you said you had no mind to tangle with us hombres. Anyway, here's some meat. That smell, reminds me of Texas. So, Officer Marshall, you're from Texas? No, I just saw a special on television the other day. Is this for my baby? Yeah, Miss Starr. What's this? What? What's wrong? A filet steak lunch. I see. I don't see. I wonder what it means. Steak lunch given to Officer Marshall. Alright, Bambino, you win. Ask anything. Finally, it seems like he's willing to talk. Officer Marshall, you're in charge of the security for the evidence room, right? You got good eyes, partner. It's an easy job, and I'm grateful for it. Actually, Officer Meekins at the detention center told us. That poor little doggy. Poor guy. Kept getting his name wrong and calling him Meekly. He told us something. Said that when the stabbing occurred, you weren't at your station. Well, maybe I shouldn't be telling you this, but since I got demoted from detective 2 years ago, well, it might not look like it, but I lost my fire for the job, you know? So what were you doing around 5:15 when the murder took place? Well, I reckon I was galloping down the highway on the back of my steed, Zippy. Note, he was riding down the highway on his horse named Zippy. There's no need for people here anyhow. These newfangled machines do a bang-up job of keeping an eye on the place. You mean the security camera system? I don't take to machines much. Kind of like that stewed broccoli they sneak into next to your snake. Whoa! Kind of like that stewed broccoli they sneak in next to your steak, you know? I know what maybe 2 of the machines in here do. Only 2 of them? There must be a dozen. Like I said, Bambina, me and machines, well, I like them about as much as I like stewed cauliflower with my steaks. The easiest ones to understand are these here security cameras. Those are the ones that Officer Meekins mentioned. If nothing happens, the tapes are automatically erased every few hours. And Officer Meekins and Detective Goodman, are they on one of those tapes? I reckon they might be. You're the security guard and you reckon? One more thing. When you go into the evidence room, you need an ID card. That's the card reader by the door. Card reader leaves a record of every ID card that passes through. So this is the ID card record. So we see Goodman went in at 5:14. There were 2 people that went in at 4:50 and 5:14. There was someone at 4:40 who was a different number, and then there was 7777777 at 4:20. Hey, I've seen that somewhere before. Sorry, Bambina, can't show you more than that. Huh? I haven't heard whether this is related to the case yet. Mr. Wright, I just saw a number on that record now. I know I've seen that number before. Maybe there's some way I could prove that the record is tied to the stabbing. Miss Starr told us something. She said that you were a detective until 2 years ago. It was always my dream to be a rawhide wrangler on the scene of the crime. That's all gone now, like a drinking hole in a prairie fire. You're still investigating the SL9 incident with Miss Starr, aren't you? That was my case. It's all solved on the records books, but it smells like a bad game of poker. Can't let it go. That's all there is to it. What kind of case was it, anyway? We've heard the name so many times, but no one tells us what actually happened. Objection, that cowboy cow hat is nice. It is. The cow spotted one. Looks like my mini fridge. My mini fridge has cow spots on it. There are some things you're better off not knowing, Bambina. Anyway, that case is officially dead as of 2 days ago. 2 days ago? The day of our case? That's right, the evidence transferals. Edgeworth was talking about the transferals too. Sorry, but could you explain this whole transferal thing is about? We keep only evidence from solved cases in this room. They're kept here under the presiding detective's supervision for 2 years. So we can reinvestigate them if it turns out there's a mistake, you see? If it turns out there's a mistake, see? So what happens after the evidence, after 2 years? It goes to sleep forever in the underground vault at the county sheriff's department. That's what we call transferal. We do it every February. I see now. Transferal's like a funeral for old cases. 2 years after a case is solved, it's closed forever. Dead. Never to be reopened again. Never to be reinvestigated. And that happened to SL9 2 days ago. Sheriffs back in Wild West didn't place much faith in evidence. About the only thing they trusted was their shoot in hand. This is neither the Wild nor West here. Ah, but that and this are two entirely different things. I guess so? Huh? I'm lost. Looks like we need some evidence to get anywhere with this guy. See this? This is the victim's ID card. The one that was in the ground in the parking lot. The number on this says 5842189. Officer Marshall, show us that ID card record again. Look, the fourth number. It's a perfect match. It was used at 5:14, right before the stabbing. What's more, there's only one of them cards in the whole world. So when the incident occurred, Detective Goodman was in the evidence room. But wait, what did Officer Meekins say? Yeah, Meekins didn't show him the card. The Meekins whose face we clearly can't see. If he had his ID card, then why would he have pointed a knife at Officer Meekins? Alright, compadre, you win. Guess I could give you this ID card record. IDs have all entered the evidence room on 221. Got an idea. Maybe I should show this list to other people with IDs here. So we have Bruce Goodman there. Mike Meekins is probably one of them. Sheriff's back at the Wild West and... Okay, really? Sure have a lot of monitors in here. There's 8 cameras in the evidence room in all. 1 for each section. Which monitor shows the section where the crime took place? Why do cattle sit before the rains come? It's not for a man to know. Unless you're the security guard responsible. This cactus sure is prickly. Must be real. Best keep your distance from Billy there. You're liable to get hurt. Billy? The cactus has a name? Billy, you're wearing your cowboy hat on your hand. My raw dog. My Rohan Kashibe? What's he doing here? My rawhide, can't fucking say it. My rawhide cowskin 10-gallon hat. I just picked that up, but Billy took a fancy to it. Looks like it got stuck on the spines and he couldn't get it off. Look at the swinging door, it's just like a Wild West saloon. Sorry partner, but we're closed for the day. Huh? You all get along home now. I think Officer Marshall really wanted to be a Wild West bartender. I always wanted to say that. Look on the floor, it's a lasso. Let's have to trap something. I just roped me a steer with this here lasso. What? It was a bellowing moo, pal. Moo! Mike is short for Mycicle. Yeah, it is. Bike is short for Bikel. Detective Gumshoe, I presume. Evidence room's beyond that door. Turn on the card reader. Go have yourself a ball, partners. Now I have the ID card. A real ID card. Let's get started on this investigation already. Those aren't pants, those are chaps, and that's a poncho up there. Aha, a poncho. Sure looks cool, but the name's a little silly. Alright, Alright, before we go in there... Oh. Oh, never mind. Whoops. I thought for sure Mike Meekins was one of the numbers on there. Anyway, 23rd, evidence room, sector 3. It's quiet. The investigation must be over here. So this is the evidence room. It's really kind of like a graveyard. Graveyards are supposed to have grass and trees. This feels more like a morgue. Nice try, Mr. Wright. You can't scare me. Ah! Whoa! Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I wouldn't recommend going around smacking ghosts on the head, pal. So it's true what I heard? Yeah, it's true. So Chief of Police Gant will loan anyone $50? Even me? Oh, so that's what you were talking about. How do you know about that? Actually, I was put in charge of the investigation for today. Just for today? Boss for a day. But guess what? You get permission from the chief, so now you're boss for the day. Gee, thanks. First of all, you'll want to have this. Scene of a stabbing of a detective at the PD. Evidence room floor plans. Wow, that is a room, all right. Allow me to say one thing, speaking as a detective. If I see a piece of evidence I know nothing about, I say nothing. Nothing. That's fine. You bet it's fine, pal. Take a look at this. This is the ID card record of the people who came in here on the day of the stabbing. Ah, I heard the rumors. So it was Goodman who came in here before the murder. Whoa! What is it? That second number. It's not your ID number, is it, Detective Gumshoe? Mr. Edgeworth. What? The second number on this list belongs to Mr. Edgeworth. What? What? Why would Edgeworth have come to the evidence room? And also, he's a prosecutor. How would he have an ID to get in here? 873-0579. Sure that every time we meet, pal, real men show their police badge. Enough said. Blah, blah, blah. So, Detective Gumshoe, your boss for the day? That's right! It's an honor! After all, the murder took place right here in the police department. But if you're boss, why are you all alone? Where are your underlings? They're using yesterday's findings to prepare for tomorrow's trial. In other words, you got kicked out of the investigation. Again. I'm adamant, though. I'm going to take control and put this case to rest. In my own evidence locker, pal. You have a locker in here too, Detective Gumshoe? Of course, I am a detective after all. They gave me a locker that only I can open, pal. Only you can open. This place is more high-tech than you might think. Every locker is fixed and only one detective can open it. Why did the sound get so crackly there? Using their ID card? Well, that's the thing, pal. ID cards can be lost. Why am I on my third card since entering the force already? That sounds like a lot. Yeah, but even I can't lose my own right hand. Right hand? Oh, you mean your fingerprint? Exactly, pal. The lock for each locker is coded with the fingerprint. So only the locker we open is our own. I just noticed the photo here. Was that in the DS version? That doesn't come up till later. That's a second game thing. The only locker we can open is our own. Funny, they look like normal lockers. These are the latest model. There's a trick to the handles, see? The handles? On the other side of the handles is a sensor, and if the wrong person touches it, you get a shock. If that's what happened, my hand would be black and smoking every day. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't even know about the fingerprint locks. Only the assigned detective's prints can unlock it. Indicator lamp lights up when it's open. That's all this is. I'll always believe in Mr. Edgeworth, no matter what happens. So Mr. Edgeworth is with the inquiry committee now, right? They're trying to figure out who's responsible for the mess-up in court today. I see. I guess this is what you call fate. Mr. Edgeworth just can't get away from that case. That case? Yeah, that case. The SL9 incident, of course. That was the beginning of the end for Mr. Edgeworth. Maybe we could get him to tell us more about that case. And yes, you can, Gumshoe. You could lose your right hand by doing the old man method. What? That's the victim, Detective Goodman's ID card. These days, everything's cards and secret numbers. I can never relax. That's only because you always lose your card. I always forget my secret number, too. Scary, huh? My face should be ID enough. What's this world coming to? Detective Gumshoe, rebel against the system. Hey, that's it. That's the King of Prosecutors Award that Edgeworth... Yeah. Of course, I got a word for diligence, yeah. He was dancing so proudly on the day of the awards ceremony, but there was a lot of people coming and going after the ceremony, so they took the Blue Badger away for a while. Really? Why? They said it was shameful or something like that. Shameful! I told night and day! I sympathize with Detective Gumshoe, but I could see why they moved it. Detective Goodman's note and that switchblade knife. I bet Edgeworth was the most surprised of anyone, because of the SL9 connection. That was Mr. Edgeworth's first big case, you know, 2 years ago. That was the first time the world knew Edgeworth was a man to be feared. Why would the evidence from that case turn up now? I guess it's not over, pal. Maybe there are some loose ends left on that case. That's the photo Miss Starr took. Anything you could tell us about it? That Miss Starr is quite the lady. Well, I remember when it was winter. I was 16. She was the only one who ever got me to talk about what happened. 16? That's how old I am now. I wonder what happened. Our Detective Gumshoe wore a trench coat in high school, too. Can't open the fingerprints of your lockers if your fingerprints don't match. If you can open it, they'll give you 50 cents. No, the police department lacks faith in its lock system. After all, Detective Goodman, he was stabbed here after opening his locker. But at the same time, he was found dead over at the prosecutor's office. Wait, how old is Gumshoe? I think he's like 32? 30. He's exactly 30. Now, that was a bloody, violent case. Violent? So it was a murder? No shit, why would you think it wasn't a murder, Phoenix? A serial killing. A serial killing? Maybe I don't want to get involved in this after all. But the killer made a mistake, and Mr. Edgeworth built his case around that to nab him. And this was 2 years ago? That put Mr. Edgeworth right in the spotlight and started the rumor mill. How old is Miss Starr, then? Rumors about forged evidence? 31. So she was 17 when she interrogated him. They must have gone to high school together. Supposed to be cleaned up with all the transferal the other day. It was the last job he ever did. Detective Goodman, that is. Huh? What do you mean? Detective Goodman was the detective in charge of the SL9 incident, see? So that switchblade knife. The victim took the knife out of the evidence locker himself? Wow, look at this big pile of junk in the corner. It looks like a car door. There's a pair of handcuffs attached to the frame. Maybe the guy they caught was some sort of escape artist and got away. Hey, it's one of those human profiles for range testing. He's been shot square in the forehead. Better to him than us. There's something sticking out of here. Looks like a shirt. Guess it must be evidence for some case. What if Detective Gumshoe put this here? There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of slob. I'm not responsible for the evidence here. That said, I bet that evidence locker was open recently. How do you know? If you leave things hanging out like that, the evidence gets dirty or ripped. The guard checks on that kind of stuff and notifies the detective responsible. How many times have I had him breathing down my neck about some silly evidence? Sounds like Detective Gumshoe leaves a lot of evidence hanging out a lot, too. But he doesn't tuck in his shirt under that trench coat, either. If you're going to talk behind someone's back, don't do it right in front of them, pal. This place is stuffed with evidence, stuffed with dreams. Not so sure about the dreams. It won't open. Did you really think it would? Hey, pal, our security's high-tech around here. Some sort of bulky equipment is gathering dust here. What sorry-looking fishing rod is this? Ah, that's my personal pole! I never did get around to using it. Wait, I've seen that somewhere before. Right, pal, that's the metal detector. The one that led to solving that case out of Gourd Lake, remember? Oh, right. Wow, that feels like it was ages ago. And I don't think I've seen this one before. Oh, that's a bug sweeper. I'm sure it will come in handy in solving some case sooner or later. That cheap-looking box? Can't judge a person or machine by their cover. Gotta look at their heart. Wild how much foreshadowing they're doing to future cases. I guess since this game came out after the original trilogy, they're just like, yeah, let's throw in references to the second and third game in here. No one's gonna know. That's the door we just came in through. Looks like you don't need an ID card to get out. Wonder if that would what would happen if Officer Marshall cut the power while we were inside. Let's hope he remembers we're in here. Wow, someone must have broken something big to make all these pieces. Detective Gumshoe, perhaps? There you go, pal. Make me out to be some kind of hooligan again. That's apparently from The Case. The Case? The SL9 incident, pal. See the sticker on one of the pieces there? Another piece of the SL9 evidence. Take a closer look. Wonder what shape these pieces were in before wherever it was broke. Want to try to put it back together? Ha! Good luck, pal. That's a job for amateurs. No job for amateurs. Well, I spent a good 3 hours on that before I had to give up. That's why I've always carried around a tube of glue. Well, this piece looks like the bottom. Let's try putting the rest in place. Wow, they make this way simpler in this version. I'm pretty sure this was like a lot more annoying to do in the DS version. I'm supposed to see that. Huh? Well, I think we did it, but some of the pieces are missing. Yeah, I got that far in 2 minutes. I got that far too in 2 minutes myself. The problem is finishing it. Were some pieces stolen? Bet they were missing to begin with. Still, it doesn't look like a most stable kind of jar. I kind of understand how it got broken. Jar pieced together from fragments found at the crime scene. A piece is missing. Unstable jar. Hey, look, they're hard to make out, but there's some dark red stains here. Looks like blood. Do you think Detective Goodman's blood somehow got in this when he was stabbed? Not likely. This blood looks like it's been here for months, maybe longer. This jar was involved in the SL9 incident. Might be when the blood got on it. Someone left a glove here, but only one. Detective Gumshoe, maybe? There you go, pal, making me out to be some kind of absent-minded detective. That's evidence from the case, you know? I mean, SL9 it does have a tag on it. Tagged evidence from SL9 incident. Extremely thin rubber glove. That does not look extremely thin in the image. Look, this one's open, and the red light indicators above the door is lit. That locker is coated with Detective Goodman's fingerprint. Detective Goodman's locker. Are you sure it's okay to leave it open? Well, it'd be hard to get it open again if we closed it. It's empty. They must have taken the contents elsewhere. What is a saw and paint doing here? Since the dawn of time, true art has always been a war against oppression. True art? I notice there's blue and yellow paint here. Perhaps we're witnessing the birthplace of the Blue Badger? Well, you might say this is my studio. Here, in the evidence room. Put these pieces together, it makes a jar. There are two things that bother me. One, why are some of the pieces missing? Two, doesn't it seem a little unstable? No wonder it broke. I'll make sure to remember that next time I make a jar. I feel like the jar itself is also a bit of foreshadowing to something that comes up in the second and third games. What's this? Blood! It's a little worn, but there's definitely a handprint here. Looks like someone tried to wipe it off. Mr. Wright, what if there are other bloodstains left in the room? We should check it out. We should use her testing fluid to check it out. What? Touch spray to use. Am I missing something? Here, hold on. No. Why the PNG tuber plus... Oh, it stopped responding. It broke. Oh, that's cool. Yep, force close. Okay. That's interesting. I wonder if that's going to be a thing that's I'm going to have to deal with now. Alright. Oh, wait, maybe... Hold on. Oh, alright, I just have to hit X. There we go. I knew it. This is someone's right handprint. What? What's the matter, Detective? This locker, it's mine! It's yours, please! You have to help me when they come to take me away. Promise you'll testify that I wouldn't harm a fly. You'll do that for me, won't you, pals? This is an important clue. I'll jot it down in the floor plans. I'm counting on you guys. Believe me, you can't trust the police. Wow. What? But you're a detective! Why am I getting a reaction here? There's no reason for the murderer to touch this spot if he fled out the door. This just might be something significant. Hey, that's some pretty amazing stuff you got there, pal. What, this? It's called luminal testing fluid. Where'd you get your hands on that? Huh? I'd like to get some too. I'll just borrow 50 bucks from the chief. Don't be a dick, Gumshoe. Where do you get this, Emma? I always buy it by mail order. Well, I'd better jot this down in the floor plans. Forehead. That must be one massive pool of blood. Never seen anything like it. I'm not a professional. What's your opinion, Detective? Pale blue blood. Maybe Detective Goodman was actually an alien? This proves that something really happened in front of this locker. I'll make a note of it in the floor plans. Hey, if you didn't want my opinion, you shouldn't have asked. Hey, pal, look at the time. Was there something you needed to be going to? It's just that Mr. Edgeworth's inquiry meter should be letting out soon. I'm going to give them my report for the day. Oh, look, another future restaurant. Might help, you know? Report? You mean written on the back of that flyer? The one that says nothing but no problems? Hey, it's Mr. Edgeworth we're talking about. I'm sure he can use a report like this. I believe in him. Who needs enemies when you've got friends like Detective Gumshoe? I'm off, pal. Later. Should probably see what Edgeworth has to say, too. Gotta wrap this up here. Please tell me we're, like, done. Oh, look who it is. Ah, guests, my apologies. Oh, it's you. Have we met somewhere? Huh? Mr. Edgeworth, I beg your leave. So long. Is Edgeworth here? There, standing by the window, a teacup in his hand. Right. He has the hotel bring him tea service? Mr. Edgeworth, you're back from the district prosecutor's office inquiry? I am. By the way, Detective Gumshoe was looking for you. Ah, yes, he brought me the latest information, it seems. Really? Was it helpful? Apparently a new French restaurant is opening near here. I think he was trying to console me somehow. The real info is on the other side, Edgeworth. Poor Mr. Edgeworth. I think this whole thing has really been taking a toll on him. So how did the inquiry committee go? Actually, they decided to treat this not as a case of concealing evidence, but as a communications error during the investigation. Concealing evidence? Yes, apparently there are some who believe that I concealed evidence. They gave me a warning. You were lucky this time. Again. Again? I've heard them say that so many times. Ever since that case 2 years ago. Are you okay for the trial tomorrow? Well, I'm still presiding prosecuting attorney. However, something happened. They gave control of the investigation over to the police department. The police department? Yes, any further investigation for this case will be directed by the Chief of Police, Gant. I can do nothing but wait for his results. I see. Why, I ask you, why? All along, I've done only what I believe is right. I have nothing to be ashamed of. But still, wow, I've never seen him this out of sorts. Right, please, I'm the prosecutor on this case. You don't expect me to sit here and discuss this case with you over a cup of tea. I'll just pass on the tea. Just tell me about the case. Mr. Wright, Mr. Edgeworth just told you no in a very polite manner. Whose side do you want, anyway? Maybe if I just show him the best evidence, I can get some reaction out of him. Alright, I better check this now. As I was saying, What's this? A record of ID card usage? Edgeworth, you went into the evidence room that day, didn't you? Just before the incident occurred, no less. Yes, that's true. Well, why? Mr. Edgeworth? Please don't look at me like that. I was asked to go, by Chief Gant, no less. The Chief of Police? He wanted evidence for a case that wrapped up half a year ago. AI-16. Is that the screwdriver from the second case? You told me you wanted to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. But it was solved, right? It would have had to be if the evidence was already filed. The Chief is never one to explain himself. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. Can I ask what kind of case it was? I can't say. It really has nothing to do with the current case. Now I'm curious about this other case. Better make note of it. Past case of Edgeworth's brought back to his office by Gant's request. Stubborn as always. I told you this had nothing to do with the current case. Tag says SL911. I guess this is another piece of evidence from that case. You know, I never did care for the word tag. It's confusing. Huh? What's so confusing about that? You know how many other words sounds like it? Bag, gag, nag, lag, zag. Zag? Is that a word? Do you challenge me? What, are we playing a word game now? This text says AI-16. What's that got to do with anything? Nothing, apparently. At least that's what Edgeworth said. It makes it seem all the more suspicious. Who knows? This might turn out to be the clue that breaks this case. Wouldn't that be nice? Right, please, I'm the prosecutor. Okay. We already did this. It's similar to the screwdriver in April May's room according to the wiki, yeah. And it wrapped up half a year ago. Oh shit, I skipped a bunch of dialogue here. I know you. You've probably got a hold on some information already, right? It all has to do with that case you were on, the SL9 incident, and some dark suspicion you were wrapped up in. You're a man who reviewed the worst memory in my life. I figured I'd be telling you about this sooner or later. He must be talking about his father's murder in that elevator. Okay, Edgeworth, why don't you tell me about it? Tell me the truth. The SL9 incident was a heinous serial killing case. The head of the investigation was Deputy Chief Police of the time, Damon Gant. That wacky old coot was involved in this case 2 years ago then, too. He was a top officer, and it was my first time working with him. I was nervous. Wow, you get nervous too, Mr. Edgeworth? What I want to know is why was a Deputy of Chief of Police on the investigation? In truth, I used slightly more extreme methods than normal. We were dealing with a vicious murderer. If I let him go, the blood would be on my hands. We won our guilty verdict, and the killer was executed. Wait, you didn't... Of course not. I didn't touch the evidence. Yes, I will do anything in my power to win a trial. However, I do have a code, and I follow it faithfully. By the way, Emma, the chief prosecutor wanted to know something. But my sister? What? If you were still studying forensic science. Huh? Yes, of course. Why, just today, Mr. Wright and I were using this. Luminal testing fluid, Well then, you might have a use for this. Aluminum powder for taking fingerprints! It's been chemically treated for better adhesion. For me? Are you sure? We are the enemy, you know. I have no say in today's investigation. Do as you will. Edgeworth, I'm really... No need to thank me. Here, take your powder and these fingerprint files for everyone involved. Thanks. How about giving these Detective Gumshoe as well? Covers fingerprints from handprints for comparison with fingerprint file. Well, let's get going. One last investigation. Right. You seem to remember seeing a suspicious handprint somewhere. Is there a place I could spray the luminol in here? Yeah. I remember, I just gotta open the court record to do this. Thought you'd see Mia's stuff here. That would be awful. You see her blood show up. Alright. Investigation turned up a suspicious handprint. Here, in this blood on the detective's evidence locker. Let's use the secret weapon we just borrowed. Oh, that was Phoenix saying that. Whoops. Right, let's get started. First, choose a finger. A finger? Each finger leaves behind a slightly different print. So let's choose the finger that will leave behind the clearest print. You can't tell the difference at a glance. Quit procrastinating and choose a finger. Okay, now it's time to check for prints. Let me show you how it's done. Emma's starting to get that sparkle in her eyes. First, we sprinkled the aluminum powder around. Huh? How do you do that? With the A button. See? Ah, it looks like it did the trick. The aluminum powder adheres completely to the print. Once the powder is well spread, just blow away the excess. Huh? And how do I do that? With the X button. Exciting, I know. Yeah, in the DS version, you know, it's touchscreen and microphone. Imagine you're blowing out the candles on a birthday cake. See? Wow, that looks like fun. Might take some getting used to, though. It's fine. It won't go up your nose or anything. You just pour on the powder thick and blow away the extra. Those are the basics of fingerprinting, Mr. Wright. Guess I better give it a try. Ah, you did it! Found one! But this looks nothing like a fingerprint. Now that you mention it, I guess it doesn't. What does it mean? I think it means we're out of luck. Out of luck? The person who left this handprint must have worn gloves. Don't tell me we've been wasting our time here. Hey, calm down, that's just the way it goes sometimes with scientific investigations. But it does seem a shame. While we're at it, why don't we look for other prints? Other prints? Looking at the locker door again closely. Seems like there are fingerprints outside the bloody handprint as well. Let's see if we can find a clear print. Fingerprints outside the blood. Hey, a print so clear it's dazzling. Dazzling? Anyway, this print took a lot of effort to find. Let's match it up right away. So we're not done yet? This is quite the process. Well, there's no point in finding a fingerprint and not knowing who the owner is, right? Yes, she's right. Look at the fingerprint data we got from Mr. Edgeworth, and point out the person you think left these prints. Huh? How am I supposed to know who it is? I can make a pretty good guess. The bloody handprint and the fingerprints are in different places, right? That means that the prints probably don't have anything to do with our case. So whose fingerprints would most likely be on this evidence locker? Yeah, you get to see their fingerprints here. For some reason, everyone involved is here. Yeah, it's Gumshoe. Comparing. Comparison complete. Match found. Aha! So these prints belong to Detective Gumshoe. Something wrong, Mr. Wright? You got me this so what look. I guess it's probably because I was thinking so what. Okay, so we came up with nothing this time, but there's always next time. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. Gotta roll with the punches, Mr. Wright. Thanks for the sympathy. Wait, if I remember correctly, there's one other handprint in this room. Let's check it out. That's where we got the luminol fluid reaction, right? Right, there was a handprint here. Okay, wanna try using this? There go her eyes sparkling again. Okay, let's check for prints. That's the spirit. Oh, we have to warn you about something first. What? The area with the blood was wiped away, right? We only ended up finding it using chemical means. Any prints in that area will have been wiped away too. Oh, right. So that means no prints. Would you say the probability of your hypothesis is high? Don't ask me. Anyway, we must try to find prints that weren't wiped away. Prints other than the ones left by the bloody hand. So yeah, you have to, like, logically find the other ones. By, like, hand distance and such. Not good enough. I gave it my best shot. That kind of result won't be any good for matching prints, will it? But it doesn't look like we'll get a clear result from this print. Okay, let's try a different finger then. It's the same one. There we go. I thought I had to go lower. I had to go higher. Gantz? Might be. Nah. Comparison complete. No match found. Hey, Atman. Not his. Oh, it's Jake's. There we go. Hey, these fingerprints, whose are they? Whose? Is it someone I know? It's Officer Marshall. Huh? Officer Jake Marshall? Marshall's fingerprints added to the court record. That's gotta be a coincidence. He's not involved in the crime. Excuse me. Emma. This is decidedly different from Detective Gumshoe's prints. The luminol reaction, the blood and the fingerprints are in the same place. Oh. Oh. So we have Jake Marshall's fingerprints on a wiped blood stain. But why would Officer Marshall? Why would Officer Marshall? Looks like our investigation is finally turning up some results. I guess this is what you'd call decisive evidence. I don't believe it. To be continued. Alright, and that's where I'm gonna fucking stop, because once again, this case is driving me far past 4 in the morning. We're not gonna be able to do this tomorrow, I don't think. I think it's the next day. Yep. Whew. Well, that case went all over the place. It's a long-ass case indeed. Yes, it is. But, we're making progress. Tomorrow is going to be the Pokemon DLC. I don't think I'm going to have time to play this tomorrow, so we'll finish this at some point this week. Maybe I'll do 2 days of Pokemon, then finish this up. Or I'll do Pokemon this, then Pokemon. We'll see. I still have to buy the DLC. I keep forgetting that. I have to load it up and buy it. Thank you so much for coming, as always. Thank you, Shell Shock, for the raid. I really appreciate it. Let's see if there's anyone I can raid right now, because we have enough people here. Ah, whatever. Nah. Gotta remind myself to catch the DLC gameplay. Yeah, it's pretty good. I was gonna raid Breeze, but it looks like she's sleeping. I don't want to raid while she's doing the sleeping part of her stream. That's silly. We just raided Tetsuneko the other day. There's really, like, no one streaming right now that I know. Rumun Gray is playing Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Blech. Let's go ahead and throw them a raid. Alright. Thank you so much for coming, as always. I gotta get out of here before it gets too late. I'll be back tomorrow with the new Pokemon DLC, and then we'll finish this up at another point this week. And we'll see what happens. This is the last week I'm gonna have the weekend free to stream. So, thank you for coming. Have a great evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Good night.